Happy 2026, everybody! On this week's Let's Talk FGO, Fate Grand Order is over? Maybe. We'll see. But it's New Year's all around in both Ian and JP, which means new banners, new rewards, new logins, and also stay tuned for a pregame on Waxing Moonsword Chronicles, because yes, that's happening already! No rest for the wicked. Hello, I am one of your hosts, Omega. With me as always is Lucky. And because it's a new year, I do not have any new titles yet. We're too fresh for that.
I probably would have made a joke about the first streaming of the year. I would have been, it is Mount Fuji Omega, and over here is Lucky the Hawk.
I probably could have worked out something with Year of the Horse, but it's also not technically the horse year yet.
But with that, I just realized I have accidentally closed everything that I needed to do. So give me 1 second here. All right, I fixed that. I hope everyone is enjoying Fate Grand Order, aka the future is unclear, but it is yours. And while we here at Studio Mega like to bring you the latest in FGO related news and memes, we will be talking about current and future events for both the JP and Ian version of the game, so anyone not wanting spoilers should just go fight it out on the internet.
Yep. I will say, for the most part, I have avoided any, big, huge, troubling spoilers. I've gotten some vibes like we usually do, but no big spoilies, and hopefully we'll keep it that way.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I guess to mention it now, and we'll mention it a little later, yes, FGO Part 2 is over. And the general consensus I got from everybody playing it is that it is actually an ending. Like, I saw lots of Japanese artists talking about, thanks for all your hard work for 10 years, everybody, let's go home kind of stuff. So, it seems done. What does this mean for the rest of FGO? We will have to see. We'll probably put in a little more on that later. But yes, new year, new numbers. I think it's been a couple of years since I felt really good about making the new year, new us joke. But we're back. I guess, in case we've got some newer listeners, you never know. I've never really been blocked in on, like, New Year's resolutions, mostly because I'm not good at it. I figure if you resolve to do something, you'll start working on it. But we do got a couple of things coming in this new year we want to keep an eye on. Hopefully this Monday, upcoming, knock on wood that nothing takes us off schedule, but the plan is to actually finally start a Resident Evil game.
Yeah.
We've been talking about it for a while, so we're all set up on that. I don't know exactly when, but I don't know why, but I feel like this year is the year that we should do Okami on stream. Probably not right away. Maybe like in the spring. But yeah, no, it's just I don't know. Maybe it's because I see the Okami social media account a lot. They've been more active since they announced the sequel in dev, and it's just like, man, we really should do Okami. Also, Chad, it's because every single time I do a Wanted where I use a piece of Okami music, I think about Okami, which is a lot. You'd have a lot of nickels, Chad. And we've got a few other ideas rattling around. Patron chat already scratching, looking for the Part 3 announcement. We'll see if there's a Part 3 format or anything. Also, yes, I should mention. Good.
Oh, no, go ahead, mention stuff.
I was just going to say, we should mention that this episode, like all of our episodes, is brought to you by all of our wonderful and beautiful listeners, but especially our patrons. We'll have more about that later. I don't do normal ad reads in the middle of the show, but I will yap to you a little about the Patreon at the end. But yes, please, Lucky, what were you saying?
When it comes to New Year's resolutions, like, I am of the opinion that, of course, yes, if you are resolved to do something, yes, you should just do it. But there is just something about the new year, which does seem like, a time of new beginnings and whatnot. So I think it's usually perfectly fine to, put something on your bingo card, as it were. Lucky actually has several things he wants to accomplish this year. First and foremost, take care of physical and mental health. Only getting older, never getting younger.
Yeah, that's
only one body.
I think a lot of people should put that on their general bingo cards. There is certainly, I don't know what it is, but there is certainly a vibe to a brand new year. Admittedly, a lot of that I think was a lot of people saying one last fuck you to 2025. 2025 was a very chaotic, busy year, which had lots of gnarly, no good stuff happening in it. But also some other people seem to rise and fall as everything does. The wheel turns, but some people, had a little last spice in their heart. So hopefully, you can turn over a new leaf when the year turns over. Like I said, it's one of those things that's not logical. There's no actual difference between, December 31st and Jan 1st, but there is a vibe, and people are big on that.
Yeah. This year, I definitely want to put more effort into my creative outlets. Lucky does enjoy a variety of things. He just does not usually work very hard on them. So this year, I definitely want to get more into my arts and writing. Not entirely sure how that's going to look, but I've definitely been thinking about it. And finally, as I say every year, I want to make this channel grow. Like I said, I am appreciative of every single one of you out there listening, but I am greedy for attention. I want more of it.
Yeah, we'd like to get a little more spice. I will say, it wasn't technically the new year, but it was New Year's related. I did post another short about the New Year's countdown, because that was over we were braked. That short broke 2K views.
Oh, nice.
So just all of a sudden over the past couple of months, shorts work now. Thanks, YouTube. Tried it out several times for several years, but now they do stuff. So you will probably continue to see, basically replacing news desk type content with YouTube shorts until it stops working. And I think it's just one of those things where timing wise worked out. It is like, I don't think it's exactly a New Year's resolution, because I was planning this already like the last couple of months, but I definitely think this year I do want to churn out a couple more videos that are more tabletop related, just because I really like tabletop. We talk about it a lot on the podcast, and I've got a few video ideas rattling on my head. I'm in the middle of the tank of writing a pretty extensive review of the Final Fantasy XIV RPG, for instance, which is, yes, been well underway, and we'll be back to churning away once Albert stops giving me work to do right at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
Cranked out one Wanted. Thank you so much for tuning into that one. I immediately have to turn around and work on the next one. But yes, that we are washing that, and I don't know. It's been a few years. I don't know if exactly we're gonna bring those back, but I did get some new comments on some very old those L5R Enter the Dojo videos I did. I think they're 5 or 6 years old now, and I'm like, I don't know if I would return to that exactly, but I do kind of miss that style of content. So, I have maybe a few more ideas like that I could rumble out for various games we play.
As long as we increase the production value.
Yeah, no, I also watched those back, and I'm like, definitely could tighten this up a little. But I think that is where we're at with our intro. So, let me stretch a little. And let's go on, and for the first time this year, check in with everybody's favorite Kohai, Mash.
Senpai, 起きてください.
I'm pretty sure the sound clip of Mash saying that is from a New Year's stream.
I believe so.
But yes, that means it's time for Wake the Fuck Up Senpai. We're going to for pro tips. The pro tip this month / this year, starting out. Trust me, I saw so many people frame one making the, first blah 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 of the year, or haven't blah 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 all year, literally hours after midnight. But January's exchange items are out, and it's going to be soaps, Aurora Steels, but we call them soaps because they look like fucking soap bars. Octuple Crystals, Phoenix Feathers, Remnants of Madness, nice, and also Void Dust. I think I still have more Void Dust than God, but we will take Vestiges, aka Remnants of Madness. I think Vestige sounds better. That's easier to abbreviate, but yeah, Orbs o' Madness. But that means we move on to Breakfast of the Throne, our regular achievement topic.
With that, that'll be me. So, got a few things here. Did get to Bond 15 with Castoria. That makes 2 Bond 15s for me. When we finally get that update, that is going to be a stonk gains. Coming off the last event, Santa Nemo Smile is protected, and in P5, no problems there. And with this New Year's campaign, I did get my Queen Sky of Light to 120. It's she is stonks. If y'all are wondering about what I got on my GSSR, I rolled for Lady Avalon, got MP2 Van Gogh. I am thinking about it. I don't think I've ever actually gotten what I wanted on a GSSR. I maybe get my number 2, my number 3, or I whip completely. Never got what I actually rolled for.
Yeah, you made me think about that, which is, I did include a note about it in my own GSSR. Though I did, of course, get a little extra luck if you've been following along. We'll talk about that in a second.
I did do 10 tickets on Takeru, but my luck has been so bad in the gacha, I am just not feeling it. I was slightly losing my mind with leveling up Coin Skya, because no matter how many 5 stars assassin EXPs I used, I could not get a super suck. But anytime I was using, off class EXPs or 4-star EXPs, that's when I was getting super and great stucks. It was driving me slightly mad. Just a bit.
Yeah, I understand.
But that's it for me.
Alrighty. Okay, well, on my end, I got a little catch you up, Yon. Keep everybody apprised. We took a week off, so I got a 50-day St. Quartz in there between there. I think it was on a stream. Spent that 30 immediately. and got Burrito Mart.
Yay.
It's nice. Yeah, we got our Smile protected, all that stuff. Also, obviously, did get Nemo up to NP5 and fully leveled. It's very easy when you've got all of your stuffs. But we move on to New Year's. So for GSSR, did pretty good. Was very surprised because they were both back-to-back in Skip Gang and back-to-back in the sequence, but got both NP2 Melu and Kenshin. So it's happened, I think, for the second time ever for me. But for the first time, that was, I don't even know if was that one of the normal GSSR or was that just the weird SSR rate up? It was several years ago now. I think I got both a Drake and a Melt on a GSSR New Year's pull. That one was actually like crazy good luck because was one of the ones that wasn't supposed to happen. But this one's still pretty good. That is, though, however, technically not my worst result, but not my best result because I still don't have a Castoria Summer. So Lucky had me thinking about that. I'm like, I also don't know. I would have to think back and probably somebody can check the archives. I don't know if I have gotten my number one pick on a GSSR. Certainly haven't gotten fucking Oberon yet, but clocked in. And I did manage to, relatively easy, get Takeru in only a few spins. I think it was the third 10 spin after some tickets. And everybody's maxed out because we got like 9 billion EXP packs. So yeah, doing pretty good. I didn't spend 10 quartz, but I did spend a lot of tickets on the pre-New Year's Durga raid up. That one we whiffed completely. But yeah, we're doing all right. No evils. So let's talk about, did you finish your master missions? Also, sorry if I'm slightly off kilter. That's me. I'm looking at my servants and I'm like, oh yeah, I should take advantage of some of this stuff to do some leveling and shit. So I'm feeding regular Melusine some Grails to go to 100. She put in a lot of work over Lotto. And now she's NP2. But, master missions. So, to complete your master missions this week, you need to defeat 3 lawful alignment servants, defeat 3 evil alignment servants, defeat 15 enemies each with the heaven and human attributes, complete 5 quests, and complete 10 quests. So, do anything. Do basically anything. Those are all super easy. So, go ham.
Ham!
The holiday ham, the New Year's ham, whatever ham it is. But okay, let's go into the skelograms. I thought about doing some kind of New Year's skeleton voice, but I don't know what that is. I can't do like ho 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 skelograms. That's right out. Anyway, it's news. It's news time. Time for the news. First of all, technically earliest, happening as the Christmas Lotto actually winded up, but Advanced Quests Part 17 dropped on the 30th. This should have new CEs for Lanugo, Hero Proofs, and Dragon Fangs. This, I believe, should be the 5th Dragon Fang CE. So you could, if you desired, MLB it, if you've done all of those advanced quests. The advanced quests do, in fact, have hands, so I don't know if I've done every single Dragon Fang one that's come up. I feel like it's been a little bit since new advanced quests came out, though, at least. But, because of the power of Timey Zones, the Timey-Wimey Ball, New Year's 2026 in English technically started in the Eastern time zone, firmly in the Pacific one, on the 31st, and is going on until the 9th. Log in for the first 3 days to get a bonus of a Grail, some QP, a Crystallized Lore. Lost that word for a second. And also, if you log in anytime during this day period, you'll get 30 Saint Quartz. We also have extra inventory in the Da Vinci shop. So we've got, little lucky bags full of materials and stuff. And also got extra summon tickets, extra EXPs, all that stuff. All that jazz.
Jazz!
I like jazz. But for banners, as, telegraphed already with our talking about our roll results, and I mentioned the wanted, but Yamato Takeru summon banner and trial quest. Got a banner, got a trial quest for a summon ticket. Also, I forgot to jot this down, but if you do Ember Gathering, you can also sort of trial quest Takeru. They'll be on it, so that's good to keep a note of. We also got some other summon banners, as you usually do at New Year's. So, Koyan of Light, Summer Helena, Melt Saber Altar, Summer Jean Babo, Tiamat Locusta, Himiko Summer Raiko, Ramus Cornus Canis, regular Lancer Canis, and Merlin Yaminami. Other than the Tiamat Locusta one, these just are kind of slammed together with servants who could use some raid ups, but if you are rolling, I wish you best of luck. As we're just kind of doing stuff, but, some of these are story locked, some of these are limited. And so here we are. GSSR is, what is it? gender/NP type and effect specific. I literally quoted how they explained it. But it's 15 paid Saint Quartz, and you get a Grail. I think the getting a Grail is new this year. It's next year where they're going to start doing that thing.
Doing the thing?
Where you get 2. Because that also happened in JP this year. Because I'm pretty sure it wasn't this year. It was double GSSRs. Both 15. I think that will be the next year. There's the social media campaign for CE and for QP. Also, there's an Omikichi login. Depending on your fortune, you'll get a couple of different mats, but mostly you're getting more QP and some more things, stuff, guys.
I got Blessing of the Oni twice.
Well, hopefully that carries you through in a few days. Panel missions, of course, which means more Grails, because each panel mission you do gets you a tier, so and some other stuff. I know I'm saying other stuff a lot, but it's quite a lot of other things. Mostly QP, but sometimes you'll get EXP, you'll get small amounts of mats. They're all displayed upon your main screen. Talking about how meme-brained we are, I almost said main screen turn on. That's old internet shit, all your base type shit. This is where people are going to be like, Omega, I don't know what all your base is. And I'm like, oh, I'm being aged. But if you missed it, you can get the New Year's Mystic Code. It's in the RP shop to re-unlock that quest. There's a batch of limited-time master missions based around story progress. This will give you more Saint Quartz, more EXPs, and some Leyline Stones. Hopefully those Leyline Stones stick around through Ordeal Call, but we'll see. There are bonus daily missions, which give you extra exchange tickets to exchange for both extra normal exchange mats and also special New Year's ones. There's also Leaf and Teapot. The special New Year's exchange tickets you can be exchanged for pomegranates, dragon scales, oil lamps, roots, scarabs. We've also got half AP Bleached Earth and 0 AP for main quests in LB7 and Ordeal Call 1. Make sure to catch up on your story and stuff, everybody. All your dailies are open, and you do have double suck chance. Now, note that that is just double the chance, whatever the chance is, and also is only twice the chance. It's not 3x or 4x, as evidenced by how Lucky did, in fact, manage to not hit it a few times.
I hit it a few times.
Yes, but you hit it not sometimes. I don't know, man. I don't know. Actually, has anyone ever... Somebody probably has. This game's been out for 10 years. Somebody probably has crunched what the stats are supposed to be on how much your chance for a super great success is. But that is one of the things that is not revealed, so I don't actually know what double a chance means. Probability can be very tricky. But we also got Start Dash and Returning Master bonuses renewed. If you are somehow listening to this and haven't tried FGO yet, now's a great time. New Year's and Anniversary is a great time to do it. And if you are a relapsed master, New Year's is a great time to dial it back in. Like I said earlier, there is a vibe with the, first couple days in a new year. If you want to get back into FGO, it's a great time for it. All main story is super AP discounted. But we also basically immediately announced the Fate Samurai Remnant X Fate Grand Order collaboration event pre-release campaign. Yes, it's very long. And that's not even the actual name of the event. But this has accrued login bonus for Saint Quartz and stuff. That is actually, I wrote that down in my notes that way. But there's a total login bonus here you can accrue for a variety of items. There's also more limited time master missions for EXPs. The listed bonus servants will give you double FP, 20% bond up, and half AP on their interludes and rank ups. Also, I should say, I realized I don't know if I said it. This starts the 2nd, so tonight, as of we're recording this, goes on until the 9th. But you will get a few extra things to set up for the event. Yeah, it's mostly Saint Quartz. There's a couple extra foes. There's some mana prisms. 2 million QP. Ooh. The important one is the first day of the accrued login bonus gives you the special Waxing Moon Ritual CE. So yes, there's a commemorative CE. And the Chaldea broadcasting is going to be on the 6th. So I would assume it's going to either start that night or like that next morning after maintenance. Though, they managed to sneak up on us with the New Year's. Just had a couple of small data updates. We also, at the Dev Diary, got the Roadmap 2026, which is admittedly a little bare. It's kind of funny. There's some big gaps in it, but we'll probably get those closed up sooner rather than later at this rate. Very funnily, they started right away at Valentine's early Feb. I'm going to assume that's just because they already knew they were planning on immediately announcing the Chaldea broadcasting station for the Samurai Remnant Collab. But yes, that will be early February. Chaldea Boys Collection will be late February. That's the Charlemagne costume and stuff. The Mahoyo collab will be late March. And then we go all the way to mid-June is the Dancing Dragon Castle. So that leaves us with quite a few gaps. Obviously, early January, like starting right away, is going to be Samurai Remnant Collab. That's going to be the full 3 weeks. Ordeal Call 2 is probably early March then at this rate, based on Mahayo being labeled as late March. The remainders of April and May are probably blocked out for R2 reruns. I do not know if they're going to poll EN like they polled JP about what events they want rerun, but we'll keep our eyes peeled. I've said this before, I am dead certain that regardless of like differences in population or whatever, Arcade would still win one of those slots. Does anybody remember? I don't, because it was, unfortunately, it was, a couple of months where not a lot happened. What was the other one that won?
It was it Da Vinci Summer? Da Vinci Chain Summer?
Was it the Da Vinci Chain Summer? Yes,
also,
had comment in it and stuff. Okay, that's probably a decent one to pull. But we will see if they give us a choice or if they just go with what JP picked. Like I said, I can't imagine that our results would be too different, but you do never know. But regardless, those 2 reruns are, the 2 reruns anyway, I should say, whether they are those exact 2 reruns or different, are going to take up a lot of slots. So yeah, mid-June is where Dancing Dragon Castle is. So the roadmap's kind of lean, but at least you know kind of what we're working with here. And so, to the JP side, they also have New Year's campaign 2026. Theirs technically starting the 1st and going to the 14th. A lot of the campaigns are basically the same. I think they've got a pretty good science to everything going on with New Year's. 30 St. Quartz if you log in right away. Log in for more things, which include the Crystallized Lore, the Grail, and so on. Bonus Da Vinci merch. They've also got their own panel missions, their own limited time master missions, the Omikuji bonus, etc., etc. All that sort of stuff you can expect already. Additionally, they also have Start Dash and Returning Master bonuses increased. I will say the Start Dash feels kind of funny in JP, considering we're hitting end of an era status. But Returning Master, maybe you've been feeling the burn, so it's a time to jump back in. They in general are doing double FP for like every servant, half AP on all dailies, a double suck chance. The master level in JP has been increased to 200. I feel like it's probably going to stay there.
Yeah.
Like, it just so happens that we've hit, New Year 2026. We've just finished part 2. Master level's increased to 200. I don't know. That sounds like a good level. Let's keep it there. And the New Year servant this year is Lord Logres. Yes, the Super Saber who showed up during the Grand Caster battle. Also, honestly, it's funny, but people have been wondering about, Super Artoria for a while, and yeah, it's here. This is probably the quote-unquote, Grand Saber Artoria variant, and you'll find out more about them later. Master level 200 does have to be a huge amount of EXP. Luckily, there are ways to get that up, but still, yeah. Your other summon banners in rotation, in addition to Lord Logres, include Phantasmoon Miu, Arjuna Altar Ashwataman, Bishone and Daikokuten, King Tut and Yui Shosatsu, Huyanzhou and Summer Jufu, Takeda and Shinpachi, and Summer Elusine and Barghest, also Summer. So just, some fun little raid-ups. It's not literally every servant under the sun getting a raid-up, but, they've got a few things if you want to get ready for your Valentines. As I mentioned before, the JP GSSR is up to 2 slots, so you can run it twice. Each is 15 paid St. Quartz. There is the division and category between red and white, male, female. Also seems to be divided by class, and also, I think it's divided by time, not by, NP type, but the servants are clustered up based on their release years. Let me pull up the wiki so I can show some examples. Let's click on the wiki bag. Yeah, so, Saber, is divided up into, 4 groups. The first one is Nero Bride, Okita, and Shiki Saber. The second one is Musashi, Benny Enma, Astolfo, etc. So I believe it's clustered roughly by year and by class. And also, while it's called, male-female split, they do the same thing we've talked about before, where they have servants who are genderless or are, multi-unit servants appear in multiple categories. So some of these can get pretty tight. They can get pretty small. Sorry, I'm looking at some of these categories and I'm thinking, I'm like, yeah, these are pretty close together if you're looking for if you're hunting for your GSSR. For instance, one block is BB Dubai, Metajon, and Moon Rabbit, Summer Shiki. It's like, that's pretty new, that's pretty tight. And in other cases, they're not grouped by year at all. Looking at you, Oh my god, sorry. I didn't study this chart closely. Some of these are funny. They had to put male caster and assassin together because otherwise Merlin would have been completely alone. There are no other male limited SSR casters.
Gee.
They're all permanent. He's paired with Gramps and Tez, by the way. But yes, look forward to that one in a couple of years. And yes, I mentioned this earlier, but it seems like part 2 of FGO is truly over. There is not a kind of and the adventure continues, moment at the end. Some people kind of wondered if there would be secret true ending or epilogue if you did it on New Year's Day. That didn't really happen. No new content if you wait. I mean, knowing how people are, I suspect they would take a crack at Merlin, but he has been outpaced a little by changes in game design, lacking a 50% battery. But yes, the story, as I said, seems to be properly concluded for part 2, and it doesn't look like FGO is going anywhere, and anytime soon. At least until the 11th anniversary, they've said they've got things planned. What exactly is happening, though? Don't know. Several people have been talking about, since Nasi brought in an interview not too long ago, about a Foreigner Ordeal call. Seems to be kind of sticking in people's minds. Could be main interlude material. Any lingering storylines. We don't know for sure that presumably next month, but there will be a Valentine's event. Other than that, though, we really don't know. So, we're going to find out probably in the next few weeks what exactly FGO do be doing. So keep your eyes peeled. Also, somebody did mention this, but yes, Strange Fake is real. It's happening. The first episode's going to be tomorrow as of recording this. I do believe Crunchyroll has it, so
yes.
If you're not on the Crunchyroll, figure your own self out. Goodness knows, though, these days, lots of... Despite how snippy streaming services seem with each other sometimes, it also seems like there's a lot of easy way for you to wombo combo. I get Crunchyroll ads inside my Amazon Prime video. Just oh yeah, if you've got a Crunchyroll subscription, you can stay on Amazon Prime. Just click them together. But yes, it's finally happening, which is good. Because it's been backlogged for a long time.
Very long time.
As evident, I mean, the episode 0 was 2-3 years ago, 5 years ago. Was it COVID delayed and then double delayed? I mean, it's been a long time because Richard was the New Year's servant last year, which was explicitly to keep hype for Strange Fake. Summer 23 was the episode 0. Yeah, damn. It's been 2 or 3 years. Also, actually, I forgot to put this down as a note because I only just remembered it, but I saw a few tweets about it. But among other things, including actually, funnily enough, an audio visual message from Wadarko and several other artists. But if you've never heard Wadarko speak, you can. She and some of the others posted some stuff. But also, she posted recently on Twitter that she did a New Year's illustration for Studio BB. And apparently, obviously she is not directly employed at the studio full-time, but she seems to be under the impression that Extra Record will come out this year.
Rad.
Still. So I believe that was the target they moved to this year, but if it sounds like they are still on track to hit sometime this year. So, we're scratching a few things off our bingo card. But yeah, that seems to be the news. Sorry, let me move me a little closer. That last read was a little soft.
All right, then. That means it is time for this week's Let's Talk FGO mailbag, the segment where we read what you have to say and comment accordingly. Let's just pull it up here real quick as I dump a body in the garbage. Lucky forgot to pull up the damn tab again because I closed it earlier. Alright, so we got six lovely comments, and we'll get started on them right now. First one comes from Monster Girl Aficionado, who says, Dear Lucky and Omega, no question this week. Just wishing good vibes and wishing you well. Keep up the great work. Wah, 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 wah. First wah of the new year. Huzzah.
Huzzah.
Huzzah. Oh, let's see here. Moving on. This next one comes from the Tyrant King, hitting the gas to 120 Summer Morgan before the SR collab comes. They say, question, hey guys, which story chapter and or event are you looking forward to this year? Also, what Wintercore anime are you excited to see? Anyway, that's it for me. Sending good vibes your way, and I hope you have a great evening. Wah, 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 wah. I think story-wise, I'm very excited for Ordeal Call 2, first and foremost. Followed probably then by Ordeal Call 3.
Yeah, no. I've heard lots of things about the Avenger Ordeal Call.
Mm-hmm.
And also, less about the actual story in Audio Call 3 / the summer, but it sounds like that one's actually also going to answer some fucking questions about some stuff.
It's gonna be wild.
So that should be pretty interesting to get through both. And, I mean, not to be... Listen, I enjoy FGO, but technically last year we had one story drop because the Lost Belt started in December of the previous year, and there was a little bit of follow-up, but it wasn't nearly as long. JP obviously had longer delays when they did it, but there was only one story chapter which was fully contained in last year, which was Audio Call 1. So getting 2 this year, that's good. It's good eating.
When it comes to anime, there is actually a lot of things that are I'm interested this year. We're beginning our second season of Frieren. Like I said, if they maintain the level that they did with the first season, that's going to be amazing. As we mentioned earlier, Fate Strange Fake is finally coming out, and again, if they maintain the production value that they did in the first couple episodes, then that's going to be amazing. I am there for it. There are some other things that look interesting. Sentenced to be a Hero looks interesting. I'm probably going to check that out. Don't actually know what that's about, but it looks like it had some really good animation and like some dark fantasy vibes. I'm always about that. I'm also very interested in seeing Trigun Stargaze. They're going to be doing the second and final season of that. That is the remake of the Trigun series made by Studio Orange. The first season of that was mixed reviews, but I say mixed reviews because some people just want to hate things, I don't know. But that's going to be coming out. That's going to be exciting. Very exciting. Another one that I think I am interested in is Kunan the Sorcerer Can't See. That one is a fantasy about a young mage who is blind, and he's has a very quirky character, which I enjoyed them in the manga very well. Let's see here. Let me pull up the list here real quick and double check. See if there's anything else on my list here. Alright, so we got a list up here. Let's check. There's plenty of things coming out, some of which will be more interesting than others, but if we're asking specifically about what I'm interested in, then it's a lot less. Let's see. Yes, no, there was a cute girl in the Heroes Party, so I tried hanging out to her. That one's actually, I love the manga of that one as well, so I'll be excited to see how that one comes out. Let's see here. Oh, it's time for Torture Princess Season 2. That will also be exciting. The manga on that actually did finish, but like I said, that's a good time. Let's see. There's Kunan. Looks like we got quite a few isekais here and there. Reincarnated as a dragon catcher is getting an anime. Really? That's gonna be interesting. Oh, the Demon's King daughter is too kind. That one's probably gonna be cute. But that also might hinge a bit on how cute and fluffy the animation is. Let's see here. Let's see what is continuing here. Yeah, no, that looks like it. There's probably some things that I'm probably gonna like check out once they come out, but not everything here is like I'm seeing. I'm like, yes, no, I am like blocking out time for that. Always should be a little adventurous and see what's out there, but yeah, that's that. That's enough rambling though on that. So let's keep moving.
Just sitting and nodding.
So this next one comes from No Broken Toe, but dang, it still hurts. That does sound rough. They say, howdy, Lucky and Omega. Hope you're having a great week. Question, as we start another year, I'm curious what event you are looking forward to most this year in FGO. So they have a PS. I have a sneaking suspicion that the event writers in 14 have been waiting for it to be Year of the Horse for a while now, and what a great minion to pair with Paladin. I have actually not finished my Heaven's Turn in 14. How long do I have on that?
You got a few.
I got a bit.
Usually they run for a couple weeks.
Like as we mentioned before, I think I am most excited for Audio Call 2, and then the combo Summer Audio Call 3. Like I said, it is a very strange event, but we'll see how it goes. Out of that, do you know that there's another event? No, I forget. Was Kazura drop in her own event,
no, that's
was she part of OC3?
I believe that's wave 1 of Audio Call 3. That, or it's the last of the summer.
No, it wasn't summer. She appears in summer. I know that, but
yeah, I think she's the first banner when the actual Audio Call starts. Because the way summer works, if I remember kind of how the banners are, is you get a couple of normal summer banners and anniversary as well. But you get a couple of normal summer banners. And then basically that ends with, by the way, secretly, this has been the Ordeal Call 3 the whole time. Ordeal Call 3 will return in like a month. And then that has a couple of banners, which is Khazra Drop, BB Dubai, etc.
Let me check real quick. It was October 16th, Fairy Sugoroku. That is... Yeah, Insake. Yes, it is her own event. That's what it was. Okay.
Okay, so there's an event for like the bridge.
If I remember correctly, I think like Order Your Call 3 takes place around this time. I think that's like more early October, if I remember correctly. Or late September, early October.
Okay, so was it Khazra Drop was then, so we did, is the order then we did Summer Order Call, then Khazra Drop comes out? God, there's so many banners.
Hang on, let me...
Yeah, I know. Somebody in our Patreon chat being the whole thing is just like one big old blob, and it's like, yeah, that's why I'm like, I can't remember which happens in which order, because it's all like a lot of stuff strung together.
Hang on 1 second, I'm going to find it. Hang on here.
We'll figure it out.
Alright, let's see here. Okay, it looks like it was released in like 3 parts. Part 1 was August 28th. Part 2 was September 11th, and Part 3 was September 20th of it. And the summer was... Oh, yes, that was the interesting thing. The summer event went from August 14th to October 2nd.
Yeah, it was because it was the summer is basically the prologue of the Ordeal Call, and then it like has the back half later, which is again like actually the story chapter, and then I think Ordeal Call 3 like immediately goes into the like main interlude and stuff.
It does actually fairly quickly, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, no. So yes, no. We have a BBS fuck summer and fall. Basically, from early August to late October, it is just going to be all BB all the way down. Honestly, I'm just gonna put that section as I'm interested in that. The fucking the OC3 block, BLOC, just there from summer to Khazra Drop. I'm interested in that, but super invested in what's going to happen in OC2. Like I said, I heard a lot of people losing their shit over OC2. I don't remember a lot of people losing their shit over OC3, except for one very particular thing. But,
oh my god. Sorry, somebody just posted, like, a screen cap of the stream where they talked about the schedule. I'm just like, ugh.
It's weird.
It's 3 whole months,
like I said, it's a lot. But like I said, my summer plans are I don't think I actually am too interested in the summer servants this year, except, summer... Again, this is another one of those things. We always talk about combining blocks. I always combined the anniversary and summer together. And
we've kind of always planned it that way, and then the past couple of years it's been almost intentional, it feels like.
It really has. Like I said, getting summer rush will be important. Might try to get a summer Nikki. But other than that, like I said, I was looking at the roadmap, and I was just looking at these events. I'm like, I don't remember any of these events. Which means I'm going to be pleasantly surprised, I suppose.
Yeah, I kind of feel like this year in FGO is interesting because the story chapters generated interesting enough discussion. I definitely think 2, like you said, was a little more like punchier than others because that includes, finally we get Mary Alter. We've got super Count of Monte Cristo.
Get another Hassan.
Yes. We've got Cagliostro, Count of Cagliostro as well. So like, not to mention, any story chapter where we're gonna do this weird fucking high school AU thing with like, if I remember the CM correctly, it's kind of like framed as like full size Da Vinci is like, the mother figure, and then small Da Vinci is small sister. Jalter in a schoolgirl outfit, like that's gonna like captivate the mind. And I don't know how that relates to story, other than that, the first Ordeal Call kind of was a weird out of sequence brain thing. God, and once again, God knows how, the moon one's gonna go. Big moon. But yeah, like most of the events I don't really recall. The front half of this year is a little slow, I guess, with the double reruns. But still, we're gonna slam us some JAMA. We're firing up early with the Samurai Remnant Collab.
Yeah.
Which is an officially branded collab, and also it's a collab because it's a 100 mission event. And then Mahoyo obviously is another like big deal. And I think people decently like Andromeda. I remember being excited for the Charlemagne costume for CBC at the time, and I was just like, boy, I hope I have one. I do, thank God. Was it a GSSR, or did I just go crazy on a banner? I think that was a rerun banner. Saying Andromeda the Summer Servant. I mean, we'll know if she's a secret Summer Servant because there's a tag for that. That's how you know that third ascension of Ash is officially Summer Morgan, because when she's in that ascension, she has the tag. She is Summer Mode.
Oh, Summer Moto. 1 second, fighting for my life here.
That's fine. I was doing a few things in my backdrop.
But, let's move on. So this next one comes from Agent 418, who says, "Hello, Lucky and Omega. Have a good weekend, y'all. P.S. Hope everyone had a good New Year's. I had an okay New Year's, I suppose.
Yeah, New Year's was New Year's. We streamed 14.
Let's see here. Sorry, I'm just thinking.
Yep.
Got another one here. This one comes from Commander Cubed. I'm sorry, I'm trying to think of how many gacha game creatures known as Commander.
It's a pretty good one.
But they say, happy soon-to-be Year of the Fire Horrors along my Omega and Quilin? Lucky. Not sure how to pronounce it. No question this week. Disappears with the smoke of Chinese firecrackers. Yay.
Well, they've disappeared. There's nothing to be done.
Yeah, no. There's no. What do you expect us to do? Heck. Let me see here. Moving right along. Last but not least, this one comes from Soul to Let More Discord, who says, "Dear Lucky Logres and the Oxford Omega, no real question this week. Just hoping y'all been good and got some good GSSRs. Did Omega finally get his grumpy bug, Oberon, or someone else? All these questions and more are probably answered 40 minutes ago. Instead, have some good vibes, wah wah wah, and Merry New Orbit Day."
New Orbit.
New Orbit.
Well, they called the time pretty good.
It's like they know.
They're a pretty good system. All right. Sorry, Chad. I just had that weird moment where I'm like, minding my own business, sitting in my chair, and then I reach out and I tap the side of my bookcase and I'm like, oh shit, I wasn't thinking of an object there. Exactly 180 degrees. All right. But that is the bag that is mailed.
Yay.
You mailed the bag. We got the bag. Lucky opened the bag. He looked inside. All right. Let's take a little step down.
Yep. Lucky will be right back, everybody.
And we're back.
We're back. Not a dinosaur story, though.
No. I was also thinking about that because one of our community members recently posted they found that was a book first. I saw upon it in the library. But that's not important right now. What we're doing right now is Caldea Freak Talk, and we actually have a few things to cover. Also, I feel like informing you, to give you all a moment of levity, that even though I said it, when I heard myself say it, I was like, did I say Caldea Freak Talk? Different episode of the pod entirely. Okay. Number one, this will probably be brief because it's been a couple of weeks since the story ended, and we didn't jot any notes down at the time, but I don't think by the time we'd done the last recording, the last story chap for Nemo Christmas had happened.
No.
And that was the time. I kind of figured from the direction of the story and planning ahead that was they were going to try and pull that sort of thing over on us.
It definitely made the title make sense.
Yeah.
No, I had a moment. I teared up a little bit.
Yeah. No. Powerful little captain.
Mm-hmm.
And showing us a certain guy.
Mm-hmm. Nah, it was very cool.
Yes.
It made me happy.
Very good moment. Also, shout out to them. We got +1 design for a character in Caldea. We immediately reused it.
Oh yeah.
Since Elrond has a spray.
Actually, that does remind me. For the panel, I do believe they actually did an illustration with all the staff members, if I remember correctly.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
We'll probably see it about when it pops out, but that's good because, like I said, they've been named for several years now, but most of them are not shown on screen. But yes, it was a good Christmasing.
A very good Christmasing, yes.
And it is kind of interesting to see that more serious tone when technically this year is the year of 2 Christmases because we've got the Lotto event is I think the Lohi event in the early December, and then they sneak in the Phantasmoon right before New Year's.
Aren't those raids, if I remember correctly?
Yes, I think there's some Neko Arc raids in that one too. Yeah, so absolutely all kinds of craziness.
Yeah.
But yes, that will be at least I assume anyway, the Phantasmoon will be a very different tone than, Nemo decides to swim up the time stream.
I'm slightly upset we do not have imagery of Nemo in his merman form.
Yeah, I don't know if any of the Nemos show that with like a like a attack sprite or anything, but yeah, he's normally just chilling.
Big Captain
I
vibes.
do believe he has spaceship, or not spaceship, shapeshift. He might be a spaceship, but I think he has shapeshifting normally. But yeah, good event. Let's talk new servant deets, because that will technically be shorter. So, Lord Logres, if you don't know, this was brought up a little with the Grand Duel, but Logres is just the name of the lands that Arthur rules. It's not like exactly Camelot. Camelot is, a specific castle town. But Logres is probably a corruption of the Welsh word for, Western and Lower England, which is supposed to be the semi-mythical domain of Arthur. So, if we say Lord of Logres, that's basically another way to say Arthur, King of the Britons. I do believe even the initial profile even says, no matter what name you say, it's still Arturia Pendragon. But yeah, we got Super Saber as a summonable unit. Not wholly unexpected, I would say, but a little unexpected. But, this continues our trend of sabers at New Year's. I didn't crunch the math because I didn't remember it was Richard when I wrote this down. But yeah, as Lucky called out earlier, 3 in a row.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so stats-wise, Logres is actually towards the higher end of attack and lower end of HP, which is unusual for a Arturia face. Usually they are big HP. She's got a straight up gorilla deck, QA bo. But solid hits and actual high NP gain as a result. I believe it's 0.58. You got 5 hits on the quick, 4 hits on everything else. So you will generate a little bit of NP that way. But also, don't worry about generating NP. Don't worry about it, chat. Don't worry about it. I will not be taking questions at this time. Anyway, her NP is Excalibur Big. Excalibur Excelsior. So it's Excalibur, but more, right down to doing like a double pose. Cool guys don't look at explosion style. Very beautiful animation, but our biggest Excalibur yet. So it's an AoE buster. Pierce Invul for 1 turn first. Bonus damage to threat to humanity. Also, whole squad gets plus 20% attack, plus 20% NP battery to team-wide 20%, plus 1 overcharge, and a 2k heal. The overcharge and the attack up are 3 turns, by the way.
Sexy.
So yeah, everybody heals 2k, gets extra overcharge, etc. This is basically, as described, this is the proper Excalibur. This is the sword with the light of the planet, but also the sword that is the authority of the king, which is why it gives party-wide buffs. This is the Excalibur that Arthur was clowning on guys back in the day. The overcharge effect is NP damage up first. All pretty normal stuff. So, remember how I told you not to worry about NP? First skill, 32% NP per turn for 5 turns.
Per turn?
Yes.
Oh.
For 5 turns.
Oh.
Just we do not require blue cards. We've completely turned it around. Part 2 is over. What did Lasengel say? Hey guys, we figured out how buster units are going to generate NP. What if they simply regenerated 50% NP every turn? That's how you buster loop. Also, 1 time debuff immune for 5 turns. 1 time buff removal resist for 5 turns. But you take 1k damage per turn for 5. So it's not a free lunch, but you will get huge returns on this. And like I said, you get 1 turn of absolute, 1 time, I should say, of you will not get a debuff, you will not get your buffs removed. Second skill is basically big charisma. Whole party gets another 10 to 20% attack up for 3, in addition to the fact that everybody in the squad gets 20% when you fire your NP. 20% crit damage up for 3 turns. Also, same percentage and same amount of time for crit resistance for the whole squad. And also, 30 to 50 critical stars. Fuck Jesus. You. Fill up all the stars. You want battery? You want stars? We got them. The world is your oyster. Final skill. Logres gets 2 hits, 3 turns of anti-purge defense.
Oh my
Big
God.
hard defense. Your whole squad gets minus 2 turns of skill cooldown. And also, Logres gets a 30 to 50% buster up for 3, so it's a mana burst. And then a funny thing happens. Arturia gets very eepy after 3 turns and has to take a nap. This is very similar to Oberon's Eternal Sleep debuff. This is not eternal, but this is one of those debuffs that counts as a buff but can't be removed by any means. You also cannot cycle out Logres. You cannot sacrifice Logres, etc. while it's there. The amount of time you have to take a nappy, how much sleepy you got to do, is based on skill level. It goes down based on your skill level. It starts at 6 turns, and at maximum skill level, it's 2 turns.
Wow.
So you can tank a lot, but you do have to take a big nap after.
Jesus, she
But
just
yeah,
does
no.
it all, doesn't she?
Yeah, no, it's crazy good. We're not even getting into some of the extra stuff here. So passives are still MRA, Magic Resistance A. Your writing is also still A, so that one quick card is very good. And we have a special Knight's Oath or Knight's Confirmation effect, a passive skill. So when an ally, other than you, but an ally procs Guts, their amount of Guts healing is increased by 1k, and they get a 20% attack for 3 turns. So yeah, it's this is just the Grand Saber we've been looking for. You know, everybody was talking about how, you know, Artori is, you know, merely hiding her power level. Well, here it is, guys. You know, Pseudographica Solomon was not fucking around.
Really was not fucking around. Jeez.
He was like, you know, oh ho, you know, the power of a grand. Here, let me summon one. Yeah, no. So this is, you know, Light of the Lake, all that other stuff going on. You know, very powerful. So you've got a pretty good sweeper who, like I said, with very little help, will loop her own NP. You know, you get 20% when you fire NP. You're regenerating 50% per turn. That just means you need to make up 30-ish% somewhere with some servants. No problem at all. You've got huge team-wide buffs. You've got hard defenses, crazy good stuff. The only thing you got to watch out for is just, you know, you do have some self-damaging. You will do 1k damage per turn, you know, from your first skill, and you will take a little nap. But yeah, very strong. So yeah, we're here at the climax. We've finally gotten the big saber we've been looking for. It's, you know, the end is just like the beginning. This does remind me of a conversation I had the other day in our Discord that was talking about, like, you know, oh, what's FGO going to do here? And was like, FGO, hard mode, redo the whole story, but with modern game design. And I'm like, if we could actually replay some boss fights, that could be fun. Because certainly this saber packs a punch for that sort of thing. Yeah, if you go full reload, you can probably just go big stonks. But that's our new servant Dietz. Sorry, reading, thinking. Actually, that did remind me. I said something about that because I mentioned our Discord. I'm like, there's another thing we said we wanted to do this year was start working on our movie list every Saturday. Well, tomorrow's a Saturday. Do we want to start that right away? Are we set up for that?
I don't know. Do we have a? Maybe not this Saturday. But let's log in next.
Like I
time.
said, it's one of those
Make
things.
sure
It's like we need to double check our technical, and it's like, oh shit, it's the next year. Yeah, and also we have a decently sized list. We have to pick something.
Yeah,
but yes, it's good to think about.
It's one of those things we have to go get the movies and make sure that we can, you know, stream them properly.
I mean, it's a little out of season, but I could run Die Hard back. I have done that movie night for our Discord before. Die Hard's a beautiful movie. You should watch it. Anyway, with the new servant Dietz done, though. Dietz done. I'm just doing extra alliteration. We have to do the Samurai Remnant Collab pregame immediately.
Immediately!
I didn't think so, but no, yes, we have no time. No time. I do not have time. We may have watched Happy Souls too much. But yeah, if the broadcasting is on the 6th, that means, you know, that's probably you know, next Wednesday this shit starts. Technically, possibly on the Tuesday. I assume there'd have to be a maintenance because it's been a while, but I don't know. Anyway, we're basically getting an extra collab this year. You can tell this one is a real collab because it's a 100 mission event, baby. Woo! Always a fun time. And to participate, you just need to have Fuyuki cleared. No need for anything else. And also, there will be SR spoilers. We can't put it on your chance. You've had an extra 2 whole years to play Samurai Remnant since this dropped in JP. If you haven't played Samurai Remnant, the event is going to spoil some stuff for you. Never mind that I think you have to get several days into Samurai Remnant to figure out who Saber is. And just, boom, right there on the front cover. Also, there will be time gates for MSQ and free quests, as usual. And it's been a long time, I think, since there was any event that didn't involve some kind of time gating. There were a couple that didn't, and I think people just basically cleared them instantly. So time gating is important to set the pace of play. But in the MSQ, you'll have a prologue, 16 acts, and a finale, plus a couple of extra quests in between. In toto, this should net you 16 Saint Quartz, a Grail, a 3-star CE, and your temporary Iori. Yes, remember, Iori is our welfare for this. There will also be a lot of side quests for mission objectives and unlocks, and also because Samurai Remnant is like that, the event is meant to invoke the game. But yes, there'll be extra quests, as they are called, which will get you some other stuff going on there. Also, in general, this event really likes the 6 enemies on screen, they are instantly replaced system. You will have so many fucking mobs on screen, chat.
It makes sense. Samurai Remnants is a Muso game.
Yes. And while it is a little more technical than some, like compared to say like the Extella, style, they're a little more finicky with like Iori stances and stuff. But yeah, it is a game where you beat up lots of men and sometimes demons and sometimes demon men. It's 10:30 at night. I'm not going to yell Trogdor in a really loud voice. But yes, makes sense. But will be true in both MSQ and free quests. So some of your AoE farmers will rejoice. Now, despite the food you can clear, there's a decent amount of mechanics here, so we're going to shout out a couple of particular fights. In general, for no reason at all, absolutely no reason, read nothing into it, there's a Avenger boss that you have to fight a lot. Who could it be? Don't know. But, like I said, there are some mechanics for some of these fights. You do have a, thankfully, relatively low HP total. For, like, actual fights that are pretty serious, you're mostly looking at around 200k-ish break bars per bar towards the end, maybe a little higher on the final. The one thing I will note to you is you're going to have to do in MSQ a decent number of solo fights as Iori, so make sure you are leveling your temporary Iori, because it's not like the Nemo event we just did where you can get a story support Santa Nemo and also yours. No, you gotta put your Iori in the front row and solo several of these fights. Generally for mobs, you're looking at a lot of casters, lancers, and berserkers. The first fight we probably want to note is in Act 4, where as Takeru, you have to solo Spartacus, who has 400k HP and a 100% guts.
Oh, Jesus.
As far as I can tell, there's no other gimmick. I don't even think there seems to be a battle ends early. You just gotta suck it up, make it work. Act 6 is very funny because there's a couple of fights going back and forth, but also it's got both Lancer Lee and Lancer Jean. Yes, there is yet another enemy-only Jean sprite. And they'll scrap back and forth. Like, one of them will show up, the other one will announce their presence, blow up one of their break bars, and then the other one does it later. Like, they go back and forth. There's also the Red Oni, Gorikimaru, in there as well, as a rider. In Act 8, you're going to have to do a duo boss versus both the Avenger and a Big Tsuchigumo. The Big Tsuchigumo has a chance to stun on normal attack. It's like a 30% chance. And then also after you break one bar, will start inflicting poison. But the HP levels are all pretty low. Like I said, they got a couple of bars. Act 10, you square up with Lancer Jean. Got 124, 130, 140, and 219. We couldn't possibly make it 220k HP. Inflicts a lot of burn. But the fight ends on the last bar. And then after that, you have to fight a different Lancer boss with similar mechanics, but you got to chew all the way through the bars. Act 12, you're fighting Avenger again. Will summon ads and also has 87, 106, 136k HP. Various effects if you break bars, but you only need to defeat the Avenger. Basically, they'll summon up to 4 ads depending on what you've chewed through, but you don't need to worry about them. If you kill Avenger, you win. It's easier, though, if you take out the ads, because usually they have, like, compounding healing amounts added. Act 15, you square off against Avenger and a Rider boss. The Avenger has 200, 210, 220, 234 HP bars. That's right, 4 HP bars. The Rider has 113, 124, 135. The big Rider enemy in this will hit you with stuns and buff blocks. Avenger will give themselves invuls and resistances as you go through their break bars. Before the final break bar, we will remove all card type resistances and, just auto charge NP.
I hate auto charge NP.
No, unfortunately, it's so common that I have not mentioned it explicitly, but watch out for several of these bosses that have real break bars doing that shit. They love that stuff. Unfortunately, also, the Avenger boss's other recurring gimmick is they like to give themselves like 80 or 90% special resistance for like multiple turns. I do not know if it's unremovable though, because it is time limited. But like there's a few strats to make it so that despite the lower HP totals, you can't just go crazy apeshit mode and have like Super Orion do 9 gajillion damage. We will reduce those numbers down a little. But also for this big fight versus the Avenger and the Rider, you will have to put Iori and Takeru in your front line. So once again, make sure your temporary Iori is gassed up. He's got to do some lifting. technically. I mean, it doesn't go in main interlude, so it's not that kind of story chapter, but this is directly related to our story stuff. The final big boss is Act 16. You got a big caster. You will get big story buffs, but the enemy will have 340, 370, 450. Yes, big story buffs for several turns. The boss heals per turn, starting at 10k per turn, but has increasing amounts of healing, debuff resistance, and attack as you break bars. So when you go to that 450k, I think they're healing like 30 or 50k per turn. They have like 100% debuff resist and 50% attack up.
Jesus.
So it's a little bit of a DPS check. It's a little bit of a damage race. You gotta make sure you're doing work. No slacking. But yeah, that is your main story elements. Your extra quests are all pretty straightforward. They will drop extra mats. And also, you will get your permanent Iori through one of the extra quests. They're called diversion quests, one category. A certain solo matchup versus a Saber boss to get your final Iori credit. The main thing to note in this, like I said, all of these are like basically the same difficulty as the mid-tier of the MSQ or less. Some of them don't even have battles associated with them. As you know, you'll be doing side quests just like the game to run down, rogue servants and stuff like that. The main thing to note is one of these categories is called Interception Quest. These you will want to be aware of what you're getting into because you will have to do them solo with a support servant. So, you'll be taking one of your NPC teammates in versus particular fights. None of them are super big. It's just one of those things that you're like, you're going to pop in and you got to be ready to set up. Our free quests are pretty straightforward and they are generally monoclass. Even in free quests, you will be getting 6 enemies on screen at a time, so this will make some comps easier. Your highest normal one is going to be Berserker, which is 633, so have fun with that one. Ends on 185k HP. It's Kyokoyo is the last boss, if you're wondering. Your first 90 plus is going to be 612. Also, mostly Berserkers, but we'll have a ruler boss. The 1 and the 2, both bosses are basically 270k HP. So that one's a little trickier to work with. I'm sure some of you will get it to work. And then the funny one, the 90 plus is 161 Lancer. The final boss has 1 million HP.
Of course they have 1 million HP.
Yeah, it's Vritra. I'm pretty sure you're supposed to use Takeru for that, but we'll see if any other strategies work. But yeah, no, you gotta get in there. That's the 90 plus ones. Like I said, if you're just trying to casually farm enemies, the 633 sounds like it'll go pretty good. Honestly, you might get enough NP revved up with a 612. It's the ones where you get like you start low and then you have a big wave in the middle. The AoE wave in the middle is the one that I'm like, that one's tougher for me from the switch back and forth because you got to go single target AoE back. If it's AoE first, I can just send in a rash to blow them up. But anyway, free questing aside, to access all of this stuff, free quests, story quests, extra quests, etc., you're going to be clearing missions. There are 100 of them. These are all usually pretty normal stuff. You're going to have to defeat many enemies of certain traits or classes. You have to defeat like 100 dragons, 100 female enemies, 100 assassins, etc. Various things going on. You have to complete specific quests, both story quests and extra quests. You have to get specific drops. You have to get like 600 of each currency total to clear all the missions, I believe. Most of it's pretty normal. The weirdest thing is you're going to have to pet some cats and dogs, chat. That is required by the event. You're going to have to do some petting. How exactly that works, I'm not sure, but I can guess. We'll see. But, if you see a dog or a cat, you have to pet it, chat.
This is very important.
Yes, the game is just enforcing the rules. Also, if it's been a while, or this is your first time doing a level 100 event that has a welfare, you will to get all 100 missions cleared, as clearing missions is also a mission, funnily enough, but you need to fully level and get your Iori to at least bond 3, I believe is the cap. So you're going to need to bond up and ascend your Iori. So, just make sure you're putting in the work. It'll be pretty easy. He's going to be double XP. Now, clearing missions will get you quite a few different rewards. First of all, this is where you get all your extra NP copies and your Ascension materials for Iori. It's all on the mission ladder. You will also get some gold apples, you'll get some QP, you'll get some mana prisms, you will get some materials, like small handfuls, I think like 10 or so, maybe a little more for some of these, of things like poison stingers, gallstones, spinal fluid, ashes, bloodstones, hero proofs, small scale bottles, eggs, chains, lamps, rainbow yarns, ghost lanterns, Divine Spiritrons, a handful of skill gems for Sabercaster and Berserker, all your command codes. I think it's 1 summon ticket, 1 copy of the damage CE, and 2 lures. In the event shop, you will have the other 4 damage CE copies. So if you're trying to go ham on that farming, you can in fact assemble the MLB damage CE for plus 200% damage. You're also looking at normal things like foes, EXPs, leaves, and Iori coin. I know NFTs are like and like crypto stuff is like way past, but it's just so funny to me to type out the servant coins as just like we're introducing a new currency. Get your latest Iori coin. The store has another 3 lures, so there's like 5 or 6 lures you can get in this event. And also it has mats like bones, horseshoes, seeds, big bells, swords, pages, magatamas, claws, sun scales, bicorn horns, oni lanterns, hearts, and caster, assassin, berserker statues.
I need those.
Yes, statues, very important. I myself am getting a little slim on some statues. I'm literally doing the low-level Saber quest right now while they're cheap, because it's a good way to farm panel missions, and because I'm down to like 50 silver statues for Saber. So yeah, statues are always important. Now, if you want to be clearing those missions, and you want to be clearing those free quests to get all that farming done, it's going to take out some bonus servants. We've got a pretty respectable list of bonus servants for you to get into. As you would expect, Yamato Takeru, Iori, Ushi Gozen, and Yui Shirsetsu get plus 100% damage and plus 50% bond during the event. Satanta, Ashwataman, Lancer Lee, Odysseus, Chiyome, Spartacus, and Tamamo Cat get 50% attack up and 20% bond. That's right. You'll notice, chat, there's some substitutions for characters who aren't summonable. I think Cat gets to stand in for Arya. And both of your Musashis, Saber and Berserker, Yagyu, Archer Gil, Arjuna, Tomoe, regular Lancer Ku, Kirki, Kojiro, Old Man Lee, John, and Jolter get plus 30% attack and 20% bond. So pretty straightforward teammates in your selection of bonus servants. By the way, the ruler boss I mentioned in the free quest is regular ruler Jean, and her subtitle is Saintess Jean sensing a new little sister. So while I do believe that the normal tone of this event will be more serious, we still got some yokes. This event should also come with the Summer Musashi rank up. Got a little extra juice for her. Your banner should be Avenger Ushi Gozen and Yui Shosetsu Caster. And then also afterwards, there's going to be a Summer Musashi and Yui banner with CEs increasing your currency drops. And that's about it. All in all, pretty normal, pretty straightforward. Have fun with your missions, gang. All right. Well, next up, it's actually, because it's the first show of a new month, it's going to be Fanservant Friday. But I need to take a quick break, so we'll be right back with that. So, Fanservant Friday. Now, it's funny, while this is not an inopportune even time for this selection, but this is one of the ones I've had in my list for a long ass time that's finally come up. Dead Moroz, also known as Morozko, is a figure in Slavic mythology and folklore, part of Russian diaspora culture, similar to concepts of Sandy Claus and Father Christmas, but this is one I've had for a very long time, and we've finally gotten to it. So, Dead Moroz is kind of a personification of winter. Might be considered a Slavic deity. I don't know how tight the scholarship is, but, all over the place in, Russian, Belarusian, even a few other Slavic areas. Like I said, kind of similar to Santa Claus, but a little different. Partially because at first, Dead Moroz's sort of, mythology and appearances was blocked out by the Soviet Union, but then they let him come back. Also, I should say that Dead Moroz literally means something like grandfather or old man Frost, sometimes Father Frost. So he's a frosty guy, an icy guy. But, he got to be very popular in modern Russia and kind of became a I don't want to say communist, but, became a Russian alternative to the Man in Red because, obviously, Christmas, very capitalist, the decadent Western capitalist holiday. But as a result, while sometimes you'll see Dead Moroz with like a big red coat, sometimes he's got a big blue coat on, with like ice and frost on it. And he is kind of the old man winter. And the day when he brings presents to good little boys and girls is sometimes right around New Year's Eve. So, delivers presents in late December, including under the New Year tree at New Year's Eve. So, like I said, fairly relevant for last month's poll pick, but I have had the idea for a while. The other big thing you need, or I should say big things you need to know about Dead Moroz is, in addition to the, big fur hat, big fur coat, he has a long white beard. He wears, traditional Russian winter boots. He has a big stick, magical stick. He often, which is why in this case we've categorized him as rider, is seen riding or driving a troika, which is a Russian style of sleigh or carriage where you have 3 horses run together basically abreast for more horsepower. And that is traditionally associated with Grandfather Frost, and also is a fairly normal, it is strongly associated, I'd say. It's a Russian invention originally, so it's strongly associated with the area. So, it kind of fits in. And then also the other thing is that Dead Moroz is often accompanied by, this one's harder, there's a couple of consonants, but it's Snegorochka, the Snow Maiden, who is his granddaughter. And so a recurring character, they got a specific comparison of some major folkloric elements, but the Snow Maiden has a couple of standalone tales, and then is also associated as Dead Moroz's granddaughter. So there's some association there. She has a couple of different myths. Not going out there to go standalone, but usually she is daughter of Spring Beauty, and wants to understand humans and human heart and stuff. And then of course the great morality is once she gets that ability, she's made of snow and ice, so once she experiences love, she melts. But is also a recurring helper, so there's a few different versions of it. But normally a lot of the recurring classic folklore is the style of the yes, child made of snow doesn't understand people, what happens? Well, she dies. I'm not really sure what the morality there is, I guess. Are we trying to advertise that being, cold and distant is good? Maybe not, though, because then you can't understand people. But obviously, talking about, as I said, fairy stories, there's lots of other folkloric elements I think we can work into that. So we've got, as I said, usually these days, with modern tellings, the Snow Maiden, Snegorochka, is associated with Dead Moroz as her, or his helper, helping out Grandpa deliver presents. So this is a case where I kind of think that FGO will never pull the trigger on a Saint Nicholas / Santa Claus properly, just because we've spent way too long with other servants pretending to be Santa. But Dead Moroz is a kind of guy who could be standing on his own, and he's Santa Claus adjacent, but not. Definitely not. So, like I said, went with Rider for reasons I mentioned before with the sleigh. Lawful good alignment, because he is the guy who brings presents to good children. Stats: Strength D, Endurance A, it's very cold. Agility C, which is kind of mid-range for a Rider. Magical Power B+, Luck C, and PC. Normal mid-range stats for a lot of stuff. Magic Resistance A, Magic Resistance is supposed to be associated with Riders, and also, I don't know, man, if you're, riding a sleigh on New Year's Eve to deliver presents, you probably got to resist some stuff. Riding B. Personal skills. Here we get to start with a fun one because of the alphabetical here. Frost Demon B+. And you may be like, oh, really? Yeah, so if I'm understanding correctly, Dead Moroz was a mythological figure in pre-Christian, Russia and other Eastern European areas. A personification of winter, could be a god, but also could be something that was more akin to a demon or elemental, dwelling in the primeval forest. And elemental obviously being one of the terms that encompasses fairies in Nasuverse. But now he's recorded as a hero and ally of children. So originally he was something cold and spooky, but thanks to the power of myths, he's now a kindly old gentleman. But he still has magical powers over snow and ice from his origin, I picked Rider because of the sleigh association, but he does have a big stick and he is kind of a magical old man. He could be a caster. I might even have if I'd done this, years later and realized how few, 5-star male casters there were, I might even have switched it up. But like I said, this is a very old design. But he can summon, blizzards, freeze enemies solid with the wave of his walking stick, etc. I do actually think also that they did make some Snegorochka, or I think the diminutive is like Snegorka. I'm not good with Russian diminutives, but we've made some jokes about that with Anastasia.
Mm-hmm.
But they're mythologically, they're not the same. It's just one of those things that, because she is a Russian young lady with ice powers, you can make some jokes there. V is not her grandpa. He's a spooky ice demon, though. But like I said, I think if I was to draw some comparisons, Deb Moroz is was once kind of the same thing that V was, but instead of like being diminished to spooky eyeballs by like horror literature, he's like a kindly old man now. Sorry, clearing the throat. Next personal skill, Grandfather's Gift EX. This is similar to the power of Santa Claus, the ability to give gifts, but on New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. Gives gifts to well-mannered children, well-behaved children, but is also said to, in some myths, he's said to fight off the Baba Yaga, who seeks to steal his gifts. Because if you're a naughty, ill-mannered child, Baba Yaga will eat you. So, his sensibilities, might not make sense to those not from a Slavic country, so the exact gift, form can't be guaranteed, but should enrich the recipient. So, several other, saint gift skills. This is different. This is Grandpa's gift. Grandpa might get you something weird, but you'll benefit it. And then also just monster strength C. Said he should be a demon or elemental, so he should have extra power for old man strength. If this guy's out here fighting the Baba Yaga, but we probably wouldn't use that because two noble phantasms. The first one is Snegorochka, the Snow Maiden, B+, an elemental type noble phantasm. Unique companion, his helper and granddaughter, the Snow Maiden. She's clad in white robes, wearing a frost crown. Depending on the exact myth, like I said, she's supposed to be the daughter of Spring Beauty, who is interested in knowing humans. Exposure to human nature, usually love, not always, melts her heart of ice. But in a sense, she is a assistant, kind of like a kind of automated golem to assist Deb Moroz in his way. So she is, recorded as a sentient noble phantasm type, made her in order to understand human emotions and children better. Because again, like I said, this guy used to be like a spooky, personification of old man winter, basically. But now he gives gifts to children. So how would he do that? Well, we make an artificial child to figure it out. So, she assists Deb Moroz in delivering presents, fights to protect herself and his master. She's pretty tough because she's made of ice. She has the power of ice magecraft installed in her. But, she's also, beautiful, charming, designed to put humans at ease. But she's very vulnerable to fire. And if she were to ever to understand love, her body would evaporate. Maybe. Probably. Legends are usually like that. Oh, yes, I put this in my notes, yeah. Sometimes Snegorochka is referred to as Nastienka, which is a diminutive for Anastasia. Funny old world, isn't it? That would probably be the noble phantasm we use as a skill, but I imagine they would be hanging out together. Maybe in the same sprites, but definitely in some animations, Snegorochka would pop in. Actual noble phantasm would be Winged Troika. There is apparently a Russian folk song, which is like, "O Troika, tell me who invented you," which is the subtitle. C+ anti-army noble phantasm. An iconic Russian invention, a sleigh pulled by 3 horses standing abreast. Allowed them to move, at incredible speed for their time. Usually, original use of the sleigh or sled was to deliver mail and packages, so it became associated with Deb Moroz and his frosty coat and boots. So, he's got a sleigh with 3 horses that, because it's a noble phantasm that embodies his kind of, bringing gifts, his gift bringing ability. He can move the noble phantasm as fast as a modern vehicle, can do it over any kind of terrain, including both snow and ice, and also dense forests. Since the horses are magical familiars, they don't tire, they operate in perfect, coordination. Using a little magecraft, the Troika can fly, and it lets, Deb Moroz speed around, transport his master to and fro, deliver presents speedily, avoid dangers such as demons, like the Baba Yaga. There are also, though, anecdotes of people thinking of the Troika and the Troika sleigh bells as, stealing dead souls, taking them away, so the sleigh can also turn into a battering ram to attack spiritual entities like servants. So, you'd ring some sleigh bells, you'd speed up, and you'd have yet another noble phantasm animation of running over the entire enemy team. It is, supposed to, speed him up and speed his gifts on the way, so I expect you'd probably get some self-buffs first, but probably a pretty normal AoE effect. He does his walking stick, which I'm sure he would, use not only to summon ice magic, but also to hit people, possibly with a comical bonk sound. And as I said, there are quite a lot of, different classical appearances we could go through. Here's an image of Morozko, kind of a classic print. Here you can see he's all kind of, bound up in white, He's got his big coat. He's got his walking stick, which looks like a pretty standard issue Final Fantasy Magic staff. And then he's got, a fur-trimmed but brimmed hat, a little different from old Saint Nick. And you could probably get a couple of different color variations out there, because like I said, sometimes he's in a big red coat, sometimes he's in all white, sometimes he's in blue with like ice and stuff on it. So there's a couple of different variations you could go through. He is an icy boy. And, we have talked about this, but I kind of think, we don't have enough grandpas on the team. We could always use more grandpas.
We could.
And this one has candy.
Candy.
Look at that big old coat. He has pockets stuffed full of hard candy, and that hard candy is going to be the coldest, hardest son of a bitch you've ever seen. Do not bite that. Do not bite that caramel. That Werther's, don't bite that. Crack a tooth. But yeah, like I said, this one's a little older, so it's not as crazy in depth as some of my later ideas, but it's just one that came across to me as like, this is a way to do a Santa Claus type servant without actually doing Santa Claus, because that would have to unravel the kind of like, first of all, the fact that St. Nicholas isn't really like Santa Claus or Father Christmas that much at all. And also, FGO has been pretty consistent about, the role of Santa Claus isn't a guy, it's a mantle. Anyone
honestly,
could put on
hearing
the hat.
about this, it's like, I like what you've done, but honestly, I see this if FGO was to actually use this, I would see this as a Santa Anastasia, honestly. And instead of
That's
V,
another
she
one
just...
that, like, since we've kept that up, that would be very interesting to see.
Yeah.
Will we put V in, like, the big hat?
Well, no, it's like, we would probably, turn V, or, maybe, Anastasia, gets a new demon, but I feel like she would actually, be the role of, the snow fairy and whatnot. It would almost be like an Okuni situation where Snow's like small girl, big dude in the background.
I could see that working, yeah. Especially, this would also, like, again, this one's, like, so old. This was, like, pre-Pretender and stuff. You'll see a couple of Pretenders on my list of, on the poll out now. I've already started the January poll, where we've got, Madame Tussaud and, is it Jeanne d'Armoise? One of the more famous fake Joan of Arcs, because there were, much like Emperor Nero and a few other cases, there were famously people who immediately after the real Jeanne d'Arc was executed stepped forward and was like, I'm actually Jeanne d'Arc. I'm not dead at all. But yeah, that would probably be a good case of a pretender, because I did point out that, one of Snegurochka's nicknames is basically a diminutive for Anastasia, and we didn't get to, an Anastasia Santa type, but definitely we could see that. She does like pranks, so it would be very funny to like delay until New Year's Day instead of the traditional Crimbo time. Makes me also think about how, I don't know, the rules for servants are so weird and wiggly these days, but it's like, I don't think we've seen Baba Yaga at all. Have we mentioned her in anything?
I don't know.
Like, Loki does have chicken feet, but she's also not quite that, because she's also actually like an evil Finnish goddess. Okay, so Baba Yaga is in Lost Nine Yar? Okay. I was trying to remember if we mentioned it, but yes. Said in Secret Cabal. But yes, that would be another Guther? Could be another good poll to just go ahead and slot in as Anastasia Santa. We have a couple of different options, but yes, that one is taken care of. And as I said before, Fancy Friend Freddy is voted on by our patrons. Support us on Patreon at the $5 and up level. I have switched it around late last year to basically be the poll runs for basically the entire month, and then we resolve the poll on the first show of the new month, and so that has happened. And so the poll is already up. Same with Fail Portrayal. If you guys are invested in some particular votes we thought of over the past month, some of the gang actually had some, got some crunch and some good ideas. So we're there. And that's going to be the end of Caldea Free Talk. Right around 2-ish hours. Just shy. We're in the high 150s right now. And that means we move on to What's Up.
What's up?
Which shouldn't be too crazy long. There was no rain last week, so we won't get a crazy one. But we do have a couple of different things. We've been playing a few things and thinking about some stuff, and poking some things. So we have a couple of stories to tell out of phase and some subjects to mention. Sorry, that was me realizing I picked my phone up somewhere and it's out there. I'm like, where did I put my phone down? I can figure that out later, though. Where to start, though, in Free Talk? We have a couple of different things. I'm stretching out my legs. Relaxing, settling in. I mean, We could talk about Zomboid.
Yeah.
Yeah. Project Zomboid. They've been working on a few different updates for a while. We kind of bounced back and forth on when exactly we wanted to get back to it. You know, looking for like relatively stable builds, multiplayer, the actual stable. And currently we're not checking out the stable build, right? It's the like beta pre-release for the next update. Steam classifies it as a beta.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, taking a crack at it. It has been several years since we played a lot of Project Zomboid.
It has been.
I think Aaron said that when he checked before setting up a server so we could have a dedicated server, it was like 2022. So it's been a while. And they added a lot of stuff.
Oh yeah.
I'm trying to think, what's the best way to describe some of them? I mean, one of the big things is they added animals. I believe that was something they were working on in betas for a while. But that's one of the big things we were keeping an eye on. So now you can keep pigs and chickens, at least.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen any other animals, so I don't know.
I've seen pigs and chickens. I do know there are deer out there, but you actually have to go hunting for those.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's good to have them. I just got Blessing of Oni. I got 3 separate ones. Star, Wine, Oni. Also, yes, it's Daily Reset, everybody. So be sure to get your grail and your other stuff. But yes, the other big thing that Zomboid properly added was, like, I'm pretty sure all the... Well, I shouldn't say all, but like a lot of the new making of tools and weapons and stuff in the blacksmithing and other stuff going on. Like, I know the blacksmithing skill is new, and I think a lot of the other type upgrades there are new, which is like
napping,
all really interesting.
pottery, blacksmithing. Let me pull up the list here.
Basically, it's funny because Project Zomboid is like a
carvings now.
Zombie survival game, you know, set in like sometime in the 90s, I think. Pretty sure I've seen like TV guides and stuff for like 94 or 95 in game, but like pre-digital. But they've been slowly adding a lot of survival type mechanics that let you get, you know, real primitive survival in-depth type stuff.
No. So Aaron, you know, basically, you know, rung the bell and said he was going to host a multiplayer server, which we have been playing on. We've done a couple weeks in game right now. And it's been a lot of growing pains, to say the least. Like I said, been fine-tuning our experience, and since we are in a unstable multiplayer pass, there are a lot of little bugs and errors that you really can't do anything about. Like I said, there's been, you know, objects getting stuck, sometimes status gets stuck. Earlier today, a Megab was just stuck on muscle strain and would not recover until he actually left and came back. It was,
Yeah, I was taking, like, painkillers and trying to rest, and just the muscle strain wouldn't go down, and then I did, like you said, I disconnected, reconnected, and then it actually, like, went down normally.
Yeah.
My last character had a VHS stuck in their inventory permanently. I popped it out of a TV and just couldn't put it back down. That one wasn't really a big deal, but it was, yeah, there's lots of little things.
Lots of little things. But we have been trying to refigure out our preferred settings.
Yes,
Project Zomboid is a game with a lot of soundbacks on, so you can custom build the experience to your specifications. But we have been running into issues on that ourselves. So I don't know about everyone else. Me, while I do like my zombie survival experience, I do not like being under stress 100% of the time. Apparently, that makes me weird in the zombie game survivaling club. I don't get it.
Yeah, no, I don't get it either. Like, I should say this. I do think there's something neat about, like, you know, the idea of no respawns, no migrations, period, as, like, that could be a cool thing to, like, actually, like, purge all of the zombies eventually.
Yeah.
But that would be a separate project from, like, our normal gameplay, right? That would be, like, set out to be, like, no zombie respawns, no migration, just eventually we will purge the undead from this land. But generally, you know, I don't mind a little bit of respawning a little bit back in there, because a lot of these survival games, especially when we don't know what we're doing, I always get a little worried about, like, you know, are we going to dead end ourselves, you know, on stuff accidentally? I think with the stuff they've done with foraging and, like, some wild plants and stuff, that's probably less likely now, especially also if you add deer. You know, if you can deer hunt and fish.
Yeah, we can deer hunt and fish. No, like I don't mind the migration and respawning, but it's like there's trying to find the right balance is important. Like if the zombies are, fairly fast and strong, you don't like I don't want to deal with a bunch of them. They'll just wear me down eventually.
Especially
Because
after
product
that muscle strain system did get added, I think, in this last block of builds.
Actually, it wasn't muscle strain that got added. Muscle strain has been in there before. What got added recently was actually discomfort. Wearing certain bulky items such as eye protection, things over the mouth, knee pads, elbow pads, and armors will add to your discomfort meter. And no, muscle strain has been in there.
Okay.
Was been there when we were in there several years ago because that was one of the primo strats back in the day was to get extra points. You would make yourself fat and unfit, and you would just spend several days exercising, rest off the muscle fatigue, and then just do it again to get the penalty waived off.
But yeah, it's talking about like trying to do that fine tuning right is like that's definitely where we're at because we have seen some weird behaviors from these zombies. Like Aaron did a lot of fine tuning last night. Yeah,
I almost quit the server. Because I basically set up in the house I wanted to stay in. I had spent time clearing out all the zombies in the area. And just one day, wake up, go down the street, and a zombie horde of about 200 zombies had just moved in like 2 doors down. Where'd they come from? How'd they get there? Don't know. But they were there. Took me and Aaron like actual like an hour or two in like not in game, out of game to clear that zombie horde. You should have seen the street of corpses.
I saw some of it with the screen caps, but yeah, no, and it was wild, and it was so weird because like talking about like migration and stuff and their senses, it's like they would just show up kind of for no reason, and definitely it seemed like sometimes they would just kind of be hauling ass somewhere of their own volition for basically no reason.
You see, like that's the thing about the zombie migration that gets me, like. Because like I said, Project Zomboid has a lot of settings in its sandbox. Zombie ones is actually very detailed. You can set like their running speed, if they're more active or day or night or both. You can set how long their memory is. So if they see you, they'll like how long they remember like where you're going and follow you. You can set their sight and hearing. You can set like little special things. You can also set up their rally point because one of the main mechanics in Project Zomboid is that zombies do not just kind of idly stand around. No, they'll actually group together and form hordes, and then those hordes will kind of move as one. They're usually fairly stationary in the area unless they hear something, then they'll move. But like I said, this is why it was so weird to finally have a minimum it was probably because I think my character at minimum killed 120 zombies from that horde. Aaron was helping on that, Loth was helping on that, and a couple of our characters had died in that process. So it was definitely between 100 and 200 zombies in this area just appear overnight. And I had to double check this, but the way migration works is zombies do not necessarily have to walk the distance. If the cell isn't inactive, they will just put the zombies there. And for some odd reason, the game decided to put a horde of 200 zombies, 2 doors down from my place.
Just dump them on us. And yeah, like I said, it's very weird when you see them milling around because while they do try and group up, they behave very strangely. Like I was feeling tired, so I just called it a day before the great hordening. But I had a character who was dying of zombie infection. I was just running around, yelling to try and grab a bunch of zombies off our neighborhood and, pull them away. And, it may have been their memory stat, but, they would see me, they would kind of shamble towards me, I would jog outside of, line of sight or sight radius, and then they'd lose me. They'd lose track of me, instantly. Or they'd keep sprinting in the last direction. They'd seen me if I, turned a corner or something.
But then there's other weird ones where, I'll go, fight a zombie, 2 miles down, lose it, go back to place, and a day later I'll see it walking out front my place somehow. I'm just like, why are you here?
Backtrack you really weird, and it's I don't the game software is probably doing something in the back end repositioning all these guys that's very odd. Like we said, I'm not averse to killing zombies. Killing is a great way to get EXP in your stats so you can kill better, you get stuff that way, and obviously when you're very early on a character, killing a couple of fresh Zambos is important. You can steal their watches. You can steal all their jewelry. I have so much scrap silver and gold. Don't know what we're gonna do with it, but we got it. Shit like that. But there's like you said, it's not cool to like secure a neighborhood and feel comfortable rolling around and then just 100 guys shows up. Like, again, maybe if you're doing a specific sort of like challenge, I've watched a lot of ambiguous amphibian videos. You can work that out, but that's like a thing, it's like your blood moon settings in like 7 days to die, like how crazy that is. And I don't know, it's like you said, some people in specifically the zombie survival space like have very specific wants and needs, and I'm like, I don't get it, man. Like I don't mind a little bit of respawning, and I'm not against the concept of migration, of them moving out of full cells into empty cells. Teleporting behind my back is annoying. I guess it saves the server having to simulate them walking, but yeah, that's.
No, like I would be okay with slow, like with migration, but in like slow respawn, like very low numbers. But like again, it's just one of those things. Unfortunately, like the migration setting is just something that just toggles on or off. There are no like fucking specific,
always a shame,
settings with it, which is the problem. If there's more like specific settings with migration, we could probably tweak it so that, because I will say, like, I do not want my game to be, I do not want to be under 100% of stress 100% of the time, but there definitely like to be moments where I am under 100% stress, but I want it to be a situation that is at least solvable in some way.
And I think that's why, like, where respawning versus migrating is a little better is because that's like, oh, they'll respawn in cells you're not looking at, when you don't look at the zombies, there could be zombies there. So like, if you come back to raid somewhere, or, you're traveling through an area, it's been a while, you might, open a door and like, oh shit, a zombie.
Yeah.
Which, like, that's what I want out of this kind of game, is like, I would like, the occasional zombie surprise. There's a lot of weapons and weapon skills in the game, so like, developing better strats for killing Zeds is neat. Before we switched some of that stuff out, it was like, you would just go outside your house, like, randomly on a day, and you'd be like, why the fuck are there so many guys wandering by? And I wasn't even in when you guys saw the big horde, but there were still, like, clumps of, like, 5 or 6 guys that would just wander down the street, and it's just like, where the fuck are you guys going? Like, they're not invading our house, but they're still around. And like you said, some guys are probably, it's like that fucking comic about military branches, some of those guys are the special forces with, the knife in their teeth up to their chin in water, being like, I love how this sucks. I developed a strat where I demolish the whole bottom floor of my house, leaving only the load-bearing pillars, and I climb via a sheet rope.
That is a fucking strat. Basically destroy the stairs, sheet rope up.
Yeah. No, I remember it from a couple years ago, but it's also like, in real life, you would probably not have to be that extreme, probably. There are some different zombie scenarios. Maybe if you had a lot of dead weather, that would be the thing to think about, but like, that's, very, very big ups. I also remember some like ambiguous videos where you'd block off the street with like multi-layered barricades, build big fences in multiple layers.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure, because we talked about zombies get caught on fire if you step through. I think I remember an old ambiguous amphibian video that's also like that, just building campfires in the street, and like you build like a strategic choke point in the fences so they all have to funnel through it.
Yeah.
Like there's sorry, hiccup there. There's tips and tricks, chat, but it's one of those things where it's like, it's been years, so we're just trying to figure out how the fuck to play the new build of the game. It's, we don't want to be optimizing yet.
No, we're holding on to the server that we've done, and we're probably going to keep going on it for a while, but definitely going to try things different. One of our big mess ups in this current game is our power went out earlier than expected. Aaron had expected it had it to last for several months. It actually only lasted a couple weeks, so none of us are prepared for many things. And I'm out here trying to get my carpentry up so I can build stuff. That's something I've never liked about Project Zomboid. If you play Project Zomboid as intended, you're not actually going to level up your fucking skills unless you spend years in game. It's really fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, it's kind of, I wonder, this is one of those things that makes me wonder like what the intended game design is. Like, is Zomboid supposed to be more multiplayer than single? Like, I guess it is sandbox, so you can kind of like crank it, but is it supposed to be like you specialize? Like, I picked the build I've been trying to get off the ground is blacksmith. So I'm like blacksmithing like 5 by default. Got a couple of other skill points. Like, are you supposed to do, a carpenter build where just like you start with a bunch of free points and multiplayer it out? Or I guess, is it just a thing where you adjust the dials? But yeah, no. I also, I talked about this a little earlier today. We were talking about it. It's like needing to be carpentry level 3 to build crates. Like, at least the way they talk about the recipe is like, it's just a box made of planks and nails.
And it's going to be a shitty one at that, by the way.
Yeah, that skill level.
But, no, I think if we start a new server, I think where I'm going to suggest that we all, make a fucking compound. We find, like, either we go live out in the fucking woods and we try to build everything from scratch, or we find a nice yard to set up in.
I wouldn't mind
and
the
pool our
living in the
resources
woods.
a little bit
I know
better.
that is one of the strats you can do, and that's one I don't think we've ever tried with our multiplayer games. Would definitely give us a chance to maybe do some hunting and fishing a little. Like right now, I'm just trying to like remember all of my fucking buttons, and remember our strats, and like trying to get like my blacksmithing up a little to like actually experiment with that. It's funny, you need stones to do that. I've been hitting forage for stones. I keep finding mushrooms and plants even though I'm searching for stones.
It's very strange, yes.
But, it is one of those things of like, we're just trying to figure out some stuff and see. Because there are, the updates they've done, there are a lot of cool new stuff, like talking about like making everything yourself. Like, I don't know, I assume it was newer because I don't remember this from our previous runs, but I don't know when exactly they added it. But like, now you can just pick up a pair of pants and like research it, and it's like, learn sew pants.
Yeah, that
like,
is it.
Just, yeah, you find a backpack, you can teach yourself how to sew more backpacks, like if you have enough tailoring. So like, pick up like a spoon or a fork or a butter knife, and you can be like, let me study this, learn how to make shiv. You can learn how to clone a lot of tools that way from like flint. Look at a hacksaw, and you can learn how to make a flint saw kind of a thing. That's all really neat. I like that stuff, but it's definitely also, you got the growing pains, and like we said, the server started a little rough with trying to figure out like what level we wanted the zombies, and now our power and stuff is out. At least, with funny interactions, you did figure out how to sweep up the ashes.
Yeah, no, that made me happy. Lucky's a neat freak in this game.
I mean, squares do get dirty, and you can clean them. God, sorry, I'm just thinking about the streets full of dead bodies and the blood everywhere.
Yeah, it sucked. I hated it. Yeah, but right now it's me, Aaron, Omega, and Loth in there. He said, wouldn't mind if we got more people in there, but I don't know how many people are interested in Project Zomboid. Vesper was actually mentioning that the game was actually based in the area that they live in. I thought that was amazing. I was like, what?
Yeah, it's based on roughly conform to the real life geography of that part of the Tucky.
The Tucky. But they also said that they actually weren't that interested in the game. They just watched some videos on it. I think Axe played at one time, but Axe has been playing like 4 or 5 other games. Axe seems busy.
Probably got a bunch of new games around the holidays. Speaking of like not quite New Year's resolutions, but happened right around the turn of the year anyway. That's something I said to myself. I'm like, don't use your Christmas birthday money to buy a whole shitload of video games you're not going to play, Chief. I got a big backlog of stuff I should work on, which I haven't been because we've been chipping away at Zomboid and some other stuff, and also I am currently on a 14 kick, new patch, new eye level. But it's a dedicated server, so like technically even more so than our just basically exactly like our Vintage Story run. That one is also another like super niche run. It's another one where I just, as an aside, a couple months ago happened to mention it to Vesper because we were in an FP and Loth and I were going to bounce, and it was like, Vesper was like, oh, you guys are, because I was talking about like our giant mod list, and it's like, okay, you guys are really in the hole, huh? And I'm like, yeah, it's just like modded Minecraft. It's like you start small and then you're like, well, the Minecraft equivalent is like, what if I added nuclear fusion in Minecraft?
So the Project Zomboid server is going, okay, I can actually make competent, actual fucking looking things out. It doesn't look like I'm fucking having a seizure putting together carpentry. What level is this?
I gotta work on my level.
6. Level 6 carpentry now. Okay.
With the video store and the...
It would have been faster if we could have made it to the video store wasn't a thing. Like, again, like, I've played, like, Project Zomboid on complete default, and I just do not like it. I really do not. There's, like, no loot. The zombies will chase you, like, across half the fucking map. Like, you are weak and slow, and I'm just like, oh, why? Why do people enjoy this?
Well, we're trying to work on the long term grind. Find our sweet spot. The we currently are living in like a bunch of different houses. I don't think the jokes about the sprinting would be a problem because we're spread out enough. When we kept talking about that because you would. Axe is in our Patreon chat. He's talking about it. We made those jokes about Axe sprinting everywhere because you would do it inside our like one by prefab trailer home, so you'd always be shoulder checking us inside. It's just like, okay, all right. We're a little more spread out, so I don't think that'd be a concern right now. But I also don't know how long this version will last. We're just
actually
kind of fucking around.
No, like I know I think about it, Axe probably wouldn't be. Axe is not actually that well suited for like crafting survival games. Because he gets agita if he has to go outside his comfort zone, and his comfort zone is usually very, very small in said games.
I think depending on our settings and like with some of the new stuff like ranching and adding, workstations for blacksmithing, masoning, pottering, like you can definitely do more of the vintage story style like hunker down at home stuff. But definitely, yeah, it's like because to wind that thought back around to an earlier thought you were talking about playing Project Zomboid on default, and I'm like, depending on how the devs are talking about that, it sounds to me like vanilla Zomboid is supposed to be kind of like the ennui simulator that like a lot of zombie fiction is. Shit's kind of hopeless and like desperate for survival, and you could get globbed at any time. The problem is that that's not very gameable. There's a reason why I think the most popular like zombie type game we have there is Left 4 Dead 2. Literally most popular because people are still playing it. And it's like, that's not like that. Like, yeah, if you're playing on higher difficulties, you can get absolutely like torn apart by Zambos, but it's still a 4-man co-op shooter, like you're blasting, glacking away at zombies, killing them by the hundreds and thousands kind of a thing, Yeah, talking about like, the kind of like why is the skill system the way it is if it's hard for you to get up? And it's like, yeah, I don't know. Like I said, it might be that it's designed to invoke that feeling that happens in zombie media, but that doesn't feel very gameable to me. I would prefer definitely just like, I mean, it's like how we run vintage. Like VS is very cool. It can be very brutal, but also sometimes you just want to sit at home and make little tink tink noises. Hammer out some plates, make some windmills,
Nah, if we ever start like another server on Project Zomboid just because we get sick of it or we need to like try like some sort of actual challenge, I'm definitely gonna be like, no, I'm gonna stay at home, I'll get a bunch of fucking carpentry, and I'll be your woodman.
Hell, if you want to. I mean, I haven't tried
Woodman.
it out at all. We could, bundle up the smithing, get you some workspaces. Love the chickens. Those guys just constantly, giving you renewable resource of egg. Now, the problem will be with the power shut-off, because apparently nobody in Kentucky uses backup, propane stoves, natural gas stove. It will be cooking it.
Oh, there is a wood stove underneath one of the houses nearby. I was going to go get it. Just like, it's one of those things
we have a grill in the back of our place, and there's a propane grill in a different yard I could just steal.
Right now I'm trying to work on getting my wall built so I can have fires under here so I can have light!
Yeah, that's another one that's got in there. Loth did finally find the fucking generator book.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, he just posted about it. That's another thing that's like, yes, obviously, like, me personally, my experience is, like, a little different because I've lived in Florida for multiple fucking decades, but I know how to use a house generator in an emergency. Like, and...
I don't think it's necessarily, like, turning on a generator. I think it's, like, actually hooking up a generator to the power supply.
I guess, but, like, that is part of the thing of, like, get in there. But, like, honestly, these days, most generators should come with the instructions printed on them, but that's the kind of thing that, like, where Zomboid is weird. Like I said, I think it is meant to be a little hardcore sim, and, like, you're supposed to invoke that sensation of, you're alone in the world against the zombies, except for that fucking helicopter asshole. Especially, well, sorry, actually, just reminded me of something in chat, there's no goal to find out how you die. Isn't that actually how the Zomboid intro starts?
Yeah, it's like, this is the story of how you died, yeah.
Like, that's okay, but, there's new things, there's stuff, but it's definitely, like you said, the default doesn't seem very generous at all. Like, you hardly ever find guns. Not that you necessarily want to go using guns willy-nilly because they are loud, but that's why you take soda bottles and fill them with cotton swabs and you make silencers. Or honestly, at the stage we're at in this game, I would not be surprised if you couldn't find a small machine shop set up and just, smelt or press some fucking shitty suppressors. Probably need some skill levels for that though. But yeah, no, it's definitely one of those things where like you have a vibe in mind, but it's also like, to me, like I said, I'm not sure that matches my gameplay expectations. Games can be hard, but game should be fun. And I do have a good segue, if you don't have anything else to say about our current Zomboid adventures.
I do not.
Because, hey, you know what? Game hard, but also game fun? Peak! It's Peak! Yeah, so we actually, over Decrimbo, distributed some copies of Peak, and we played some Peak. And Peak's pretty fun. I based at least on what the others think, and I did get a clutch. I clutched it out once. I am apparently a natural at climbing. You just sometimes you just feel the climbing in your blood. Your hands itch. Wait, that's this cactus I just touched. I don't think we've thrown the towel. It's just one of those things. It's like, or are you talking about the run even before Lucky, where like we could have gone a little longer? The game's rough. Like, it can blow your ass up.
Peak is like a very simple game, but it's fun in a whole bunch of silly ways.
Yeah, the studio behind it, Aggro Crab, is like, they're really good at adding like weird stuff. Like, they're not trying to make a serious mountain climbing simulator game. You are literally a bunch of, wilderness scouts who are in a Lost style plane crash and have to climb your way out against ever more ludicrous mountains, because also, like Lost, we might be dead and in purgatory. In Dante's Purgatorio, Purgatory is a mountain you must climb. That's got the full 7 phases, so Peak is goofy, which is good, because the levity, I think, the levity helps balance out the fact that, you are fucking climbing for your life against hazards which are both normal and also ludicrous. Mesa fucking hitting you with tornadoes and dynamite. God, Roots also sucked. Spiders, giant spiders, and winds. Yeah, there's almost some, survival horror type stuff in there. I mean, you can get attacked by the skeleton scoutmaster if you get too far ahead. But also, like I said, it's fucking weird. Mesa, there's sunlight mechanics where if you're out in the sun too much, you get hot, and you can spray sunscreen. That's cool. You can also get a parasol. You can get a giant parasol, and that protects you from the sun. But also, it lets you fucking Mary Poppins glide, which is very funny. There's like I said, there's lots of silly stuff. And sorry, itchy nose. You already said that your number one moment where you wish you were recording is we're all playing together. Voth had a cursed skull,
mm-hmm.
and he's just like, can I cook this cursed skull? And just the shot's perfect, Chad. It's cinema. I will describe it to you. Loth standing in front of the campfire. Axe is on one side, backing away from him. Lucky and I are on the other side of him, backing away from him. Lucky just says, "Well, you can test that." Well, I'm way over here. I was being quiet because we had company, so I wasn't. I still need to troubleshoot my audio setup on Peak for the VoIP, but I just popped the salute emote, and then Loth goes, "Okay, it's cooked." Huge explosion, big purple smoke, and nothing is left of him but his fucking skeleton. He is
standing
gone.
In place, by the way.
Yes, instantly. And then his ghost just appears next to you, and he's like, "Well, guess what?" Just such pitch perfect comedic timing. And that's Peak. The game is so fun to fuck around in. If we do actually want to do some fuck around streams, we should probably record or stream a little Peak sometime, because it's great fun. It can be a little bullshit. The final area we got to, the kiln, is just so stupid intense, a fucking vertical cylinder mountain climb. Yeah, and it's there's usually exactly one path forward. It would have been a little better if we had some materials. Like I said, we did that run. We got to the kiln that time. We did recover from an accidental team wipe because we got the caldera and it got exploded. Yeah, Axe got glitched and he respawned, but then was hurled to the moon. So we were down a guy. We used a bunch of our lost a bunch of our inventory because everybody died. So it's a game that rewards you for actually not eating the big one. Eating a big sandwich and carrying through with your items and stuff so you can get juiced up. So it's fun. We'll definitely play some more Peak. I like Peak a lot. Definitely like for all the jokes and snide comments about friend slop, like it's a very fun, fairly, I don't know if tight's the right word, but that's the word that jumped to mind. But it's like it's a pretty focused game. You climb a mountain.
Like I can understand why people say like it's friend slop, because while there is like a little going ahead, it has a very simplistic art style. I would say like I think that's kind of like in the same thing as like Repo and
Lethal Company is, I think, one of the
Lethal
big
Company,
ones
yeah.
last year, yeah. And all of those games have the kind of like friend VoIP feature.
Yeah. This is like one of the first games I think we've actually like tried to actually play with VoIP, and I do think the game was so much better for it, as we're yelling for people and you can just hear them just tiny in the distance, or we're echoing and stuff.
Yeah.
No, so
I mean,
it's
I
one of
will
those
say
games, like,
me as the team mute, like I said, I have to troubleshoot it because I was not able to yell loud anyway, but got to figure out if I can get that to work. But or I can make it work. I just have to figure out where my inputs go. But like being the silent soldier, just talking through emotes, you know, also had a certain amount of comedy. You know, Loth would ask me a yes or no question, and I would shake or bob. And then sometimes Loth would ask me questions without yes or no answers, and I'm just like, I have a very limited emote wheel here, Chief. I can salute, I can thumbs up, I can shrug.
you can crash out.
I can play dead, yeah. I can dance, which is kind of like throwing my arms up in the air. But no, Peak's a fun game. You can play it solo. You can play it with friends. Another reason why playing it with friends who live is important is because if one guy gets up there first, you know, they can kind of like help you out with the last run. Though sometimes that doesn't work out. I remember in the kiln, me trying to grab Loth, and it's like, oh, I think he had just a little bit less stamina than I did. So like trying to grab him from like the ledge was hard. I couldn't get close enough. I'll probably still be fucking around in Project Zomboid because that's on a dedicated server and stuff. That's something that I can kind of like phase in and out of easier when I have to like stop playing it, because I had to install Project Zomboid on my newer machine, because originally I had it installed and I just updated and was able to run it several years ago on my old one, and it just didn't want to do that this time. Don't know if it's the unstable or whatever, or all the stuff they've added, but it was just not going, so I just put it on the new machine. But that's also where we edit video on, process, render. So we won't be able to do that all night tonight. But yes, Peak is fun. Parts of Zomboid are fun. Parts of Zomboid are not fun. I think you and I have both talked about how the close combat gets a little finicky sometimes, where you'll spin around 180 weirdly. Loth, I know, had a problem the other night where he was like, game, no, let me hit that guy on the ground. And it's like, no, if there's a zombie standing up next to you, you have to push that guy first. Then you get the ground guy. But that's the friend stuff games. There's another video game that you've been playing a lot, Lucky. And I kind of want to be hearing about a little.
Which one?
Neon White.
Oh, yes, Neon White.
Because that's
so Neon White
it came from a couple years ago.
Yeah, it came out a couple years ago. Originally on Nintendo Switch. Loth is in my house, just dropping stuff off, not saying a word.
He does that silently. Is it the nails you asked for?
No, he's brought me a fucking pistol and a shotgun.
But hey, what if I want those, Loth? This is where I'm going to get back into and check out our house, and I'm going to go to like the cabinet upstairs, and there's going to be 4 more pistols that he just didn't mention. Excellent laugh wave.
Sorry. I'm telling Loth, use your words. We have them. And he's just like, I forgot.
Of course. Yeah,
so he brought me the
right there.
Yep. Yeah, I'm connecting the generator. It's being connected. Yeah, lights.
Nice. Does it hook up to the electrical boxes outside of the house?
Oh, no, you just have to put it outside, and it's on a grid.
Okay, it's magical.
Yes.
I was kind of curious. Makes me wonder I guess it's just for flavor that they have the little power boxes outside. Anyway, to fill in a little, though, obviously, dead silence will just be...
Sorry, I'm having the conversation with Loth.
Yeah.
Loth is like, I asked Loth, what if a Mega wanted them? And Loth's like, then I'll just give him the ones that I have. I'm like, Loth, you sacrificed yourself too much, and it drives me insane.
He's too nice for his own good. But yes, dead silence will be quachad out. But I was going to say, to recycle back in, Neon White is in the conversation again because, well, it was originally on the Switch. It was ported to like Steam and PlayStation, I want to say like a year later. Usually that's how Nintendo exclusives work.
I'm
but
not entirely sure, but something like that.
Most recently, it was a free game on PS Plus.
Yes. And I picked it up, as I usually do. And I have been playing it. I've been playing it a lot. I have like 30 hours into it. which is both a lot and not a lot. Because the basis of Neon White is, because funnily enough, I actually had no idea what Neon White was. Really. I seen like a little bit of screenshots, but like when it came out, really didn't get my radar. Probably because, I don't know, like why. It's just one of those things that just did not, register with me on it. But I picked it up and I realized it's a speedrunning game, actually. It's a game about trying to accomplish your goal as quickly and efficiently as possible. And Lucky does enjoy a good bit of puzzle in his life. So, I've been doing that. But, like, I'm not entirely sure how I want to like properly explain this. Give me a second while I think here.
He's thinking. I would play a Jeopardy theme here, but that might be copyrighted. So you'll just have to imagine it inside your mind palace, chat. Imagine it inside your mind place, along with your case notes on the wake case.
Drink your coffee.
Damn, fine cup of coffee.
So basically the story is you wake up in heaven and you're something that's basically called a neon. The neons are basically sinners who are given a chance to go to heaven by taking place of a giant competition during God's judgment. So and that takes like 10 days. Throughout these 10 days, you have to basically run around heaven, kill demons that are showing up, and, improve your rank. You start off, neon rank 100, and as you get gold or platinum trophies in each run, your rank increases. Like I said, your rank is determined by how fast you go, and there's like 4 ranks. So you get bronze, silver, gold, and platinum. As you hit each, As you hit each rank, you get a little thing, like when you hit bronze, a gift becomes available in the map that you can find. When you hit silver, your player ghost becomes available, so you can compare notes to your fastest run. When gold becomes available, you get a hint. That lets you figure out shows you a shortcut to complete it. And platinum unlocks global rankings, which I think is actually fairly neat. Lucky's global rank is usually anywhere between 7k and 40k. But, so the gameplay is a lot of platforming. You're jumping between a lot of platforms. There's always an infinite abyss underneath you, no matter where you go. So you're jumping to a lot of platforms.
In heaven, there's nowhere to go but down.
Apparently. And, like I said, you have to slay demons. You cannot complete a level, no matter how fast you go, until you've killed every single demon. To do so, you're giving something called a soul card, and a soul card is a weapon. Neon White, that's the main character, voiced by Steve Bloom. It's actually very good. It's a very good voice for him. I do say so myself. His default soul card is a katana, but throughout the rest of the map, you'll pick up other ones. For example, you can get a rifle, which acts as a dash, so you will just go forward, destroying enemies and barricades in it. The shotgun is also another dash, but it's a fiery dash, and you can aim it in any direction, up, down, left, right, or any cardinal wish.
Ooh.
The pistol is just a double jump. The rocket launcher is a grappling hook, but you can also use it to rocket jump. Lot of flexibility there. You have two. There is the SMG. There's the SMG, which lets you stomp, so you can go down very fast, breaking barriers and killing enemies. Or you have the automatic rifle, which throws a little bomb, which you can jump off as well. There might be some more ones I haven't figured out, but that's it. So you basically have to choose between, using the gun feature, because all these guns will shoot, bullets, or discarding them to use their alternate ability. And once you discard, like I said, you don't have that card anymore. So there's a lot of, figuring out, like, which is the proper things. Like, do I try to rocket jump to the next location? Do I use the grappling hook? Do I save the shotgun? So do I use the shotgun ammo to kill these guys, or to use the dash to go a little bit faster? There's a lot of mixing and matching in there that gives the game a lot of flavor. The story is, I don't know if I want to say the story. No, I don't want to say it's bad. The story is simple, but there is a lot of good character vibes in there. Like I said, all the neon, like, no one has named. Everyone's either like neon white, neon red, neon green, neon yellow, neon purple. They all have very good. They're all basically caricatures and archetype. Like neon red, and all the neons have a mask put on them that will explode if they misbehave. So neon white has a white oni mask. Neon red has a kitsune mask. Neon violet has a bunny mask, neon yellow has a goat mask, and neon green has an Oni mask like white does. And each of these masks are kind of supposed to symbolize their character.
Seems pretty straightforward with archetypes, yeah.
Yeah. And I don't want to necessarily like ruin like their personalities and stuff, but I do very much enjoy it. Like it takes me down. It takes me down like a little nostalgia way, especially with Steve Bloom voicing the main character. It's great. One of the things I like about the story is in heaven you can't see the angels, but they're cognito-hazard angels, so your mind will automatically translate something into you can understand. And the way that White sees the angels in heaven as cats, so you have little cats with wings on them, and it's actually quite cute. I'm pretty sure that the angels are actually supposed to represent major angels from Legend, because their names are Mikey, Gabby, and Raz, and I'm just like, that's Michael, Gabriel, and Raphael just chilling here. Raphael's here at a shitty bar. Gabby's a secretary. Mikey's kind of your boss. They're all great though. I love them. But no, the game is fun, and the thing I like about it, it's like something you can put up and put down real easy.
Oh, that's nice.
Like
that's where I'm at, because like I have a backlog obviously, and there's games I wanted to get into, but most of the games that are on my backlog are fuck ass long RPGs. The games I picked up last year that I need to work on is like P3 Reload, E33. Actually, P3 Reload was like last year. It was 2 years ago now, I think. When the fuck did that come out? Was that 24 or 25? Chat, I don't know. FFT also though, like those are games that are big, and like you can kind of pick them up and put them down, but it feels harder to pick up if you put them down after a little while, right?
Yeah. No, with Neon White, like I've had to fuck with the I super appreciate that they have full controller keybinds redo, because again, this game the game relies a lot on snap judgment. Like, you know, you can be like shooting your gun, and then you have to immediately use the discard on it, then swap cards and then use it, so you're hitting a lot of buttons in very specific sequences, and if you don't hit it in that sequence, you fail. So
so being able to pick your own and build your own muscle memory is very, very important.
Yes, no, it's very important.
It's also good.
But so like usually like the story, like I said, because the story's so simple, you like if you like go away and come back, you don't really like feel like you're missing too much. You're just like you're going back into the thing. You're back into the same gameplay loop. I think the hardest part is getting your muscle memory back and be like, all right, what do I do for which button again? And building that sorry, I'm trying to like this is just building the muscle memory up again. I guess that's the only way I can really say it. But like I said, right now I think I'm Neon rank 33, which probably means there's only like 32 more missions in there. But like I said, I've been taking so long because basically what I've been doing is usually the chapters are separated into like 10 maps, and like there's maybe like a few weird ones here in between. I usually do 10 just first off. I just clear it, usually get bronze or silver in there, get the story, and then I just go back to the beginning of the chapter and start redoing them, getting the platinum and the gift one. Some of them I'll be in there for like half an hour, just trying to slowly increase that time getting out there. Like the game, I wouldn't say the game.
We're basically talking about how I play Katamari right now.
Yeah, like
you don't necessarily jump right to the next level. It's like, okay, did we get everything in that last level? Do we need anything? Do we want to find the present? We want to find the cousin? Do I just want to do that level again because it was cool? Gesundheit.
Oh, thank you. So it was like that takes up some time at night, and it's like when I play the game, and I'm like I said, it's a game where you're just like trying to speedrun yourself, so you're gonna fail a lot, but I don't ever necessarily feel pissed off when I fail, which I think is important. Usually it's just a man is like, nope, I did that wrong, I pushed the wrong button, that's my bad. Because like that's one of the things about like video games, like people can talk about like the difficulty and stuff whatnot, but with like game like Neon White, no, it's like it's all you, baby. You can do like as long as you hit the right button at the right time and know what you're doing, you will succeed. So like generally when I do it, it's like, nope, that was not the game trying to fuck me. That's me fucking myself there.
I like just happened by a tweet where somebody was talking about splitting up the idea of difficulty between execution, like how hard is it to do the thing you want to do, and then punishment, what happens when you fuck it up.
Yeah.
And it's just like it's so funny that, I don't know, maybe the algorithms are getting advanced, but it's so funny to like think about like, yeah, no, that's basically what we're talking about. What you're saying is that Neon White is a game that's not hard in execution in the sense that the game doesn't really fuck with it. If you input the buttons to do the thing you want to do, you do it every time. And if that's the correct thing to do, you succeed. Good job. And obviously punishment is probably you don't get the best time or you fall into the infinite abyss and you just have to start over.
Yeah. And like I said, the game has a button. You can just hit like on the PS5. It's just you hit the center button, the touchpad, and you just restart the level. So if I know that like I have fucked it up, I just restart level, go again.
Oh no, that's for challenge based games like that. I love just having a button to be like, nope, I fucked it up,
go again. And and like I said, I'm getting like further in the game, so they're getting more complex and stuff, and I'm like failing often and stuff. I never feel like. Again, like it's difficult, but not to the point where I feel like the game is intentionally trying to fuck me. There is a solution. There is always the solution is just there. I just have to improve my reaction and my buttons to do it. It's like I have never gotten like just stuck like one night on a map. Usually, like it takes me like it might like the runs can take anywhere from like 20 seconds to like a minute, like per map. And there have been some maps where I've spent like, 20 to 30 minutes on one map. But that's only like, if you think about it, that's only 20 to 30 minutes. Like, that's not that bad.
No, it's pretty straightforward.
Like, me playing like some, Soulsborne's game, have, fought against bosses for hours, get frustrated, put the game down, go to sleep, get back up the next day, beat it first try, and just go, what the fuck?
Crazy brain powers. But yeah, no, like, that's like another counterpoint of like, that's another interesting one where I think that both... Not always, but generally, Souls-like type games are high in the difficulty of both execution and punishment. Like execution, yeah, you have to learn the boss's fucking timing. You gotta pick up. I mean, obviously there are cheese strats. You can like generous parry windows or whatever. But usually you have to study the boss and go, okay, I understand what's going on here. I can figure it out. And then execute on it. And then also, if you get your clock cleaned, you can get. Not only do you physically lose the hours it took you to do that, but you can lose the rewards you also gained, which is why, like, generally those games irk me. It feels like the punishment feels like a double time waste. But no, like, that's pretty neat. Like, I have Neon White downloaded, ever since it was free, and it's like, I've been wanting to pick it up, but we've been bumming around with other ones. But, you're talking it up. Maybe I'll do that as my little thing. I've been... just to kill a little time while I do stuff, I've been listening to some old audiobooks and reading a little more over the holiday break. It's just like, I've been poking a couple of runs of like Balatro Slay the Spire. Yeah, I should get into Neon White instead for a little bit.
No, Neon White I think is definitely one of my, I'm going to play a bit before bed kind of games.
That's kind of the space I'm at. Like, I don't have a brand new one of those. Like I said, I've been, again, playing Slay the Spire or Balatro again, which I don't really need to be doing. Like, there's still things I haven't achieved in them, but I kind of feel like deck building type roguelikes are just kind of like, we just do them. We just do the thing. And sometimes we die and sometimes we don't die. I should consider to jump into Neon White then.
Yeah, I think you'll enjoy it.
Oh, I think I will. It's just one of those things where it's like I said, it's been on my list. I'm staring at it in my list of installed games. I remembered to install it right about when I bought RE5. Because I'm looking at it in my list of apps.
Lucky has RE5 installed. I actually played a little bit just to be like, all right, how do I play this game again? I was like, oh yeah.
And right next to it is, I will say as an aside, not to cut you off if you have more to say, but I've played a little bit. I need to play more of, but there's another PS Plus game that was from a few months ago, I think. I gotta check if it's still up for people, called Wizard with a Gun. It's about a wizard with a gun. But it's also got kind of got some crafty survival-y type mechanics, kind of got some roguelite elements in that you do like expeditions, which are limited time before chaos tries to kill you. But then you rewind time and go back, until you accomplish the goal while you're slowly building up your kind of like hub world. And it's like, oh, it's the kind of thing that's like our jam. But yes, Neon White seems neato. Also does kind of make sense, though, that I kind of feel like it... I don't want to say it went under the radar. I think it was pretty well reviewed when it came out on Switch, but also, like, didn't get crazy hype. But I think a lot of people would have the same difficulty you had in trying to explain it, because it's like, okay, so you're playing a first-person platform, shooter game, but not really. It's a puzzle game. It's a speedrun puzzle game, and also, you're Steve Bloom, and it's like, okay, sure. Like that's the thing about video games that I like, because like there are games that are like that. I won't say I'm Mirror's Edge's strongest soldier, but that was a PS3 game that I did really like. That kind of dead ended after a prequel sequel, a sequel that was a prequel. A game also that sadly in the PS3 era to this day I never could beat because I encountered a glitch back in the day that just wasn't patched. I mean, here's the thing though. In chat, somebody's saying shooter game is just a format. Yeah, FPS style are kind of like that, but also lots of old school FPS games have platforming elements. Like that's rocket jumping was invented by FPSs. God knows, playing old school like Marathon, there are so many weird ass puzzles you gotta like. It's not really, you don't usually use the rocket launcher because it'll kill you, but you would grenade hop with the assault rifle, like stuff like that, like weird non-Euclidean platforming. Classic Unreal has a lot of like high speed motion and shit. Like that's pretty normal. Even Halo, which is fairly slow as far as FPS games go, like multiplayer maps and stuff are full of like teleporters, man cannons, grav lifts, shit like that, Like some first person games are very keen on mobility, so making that kind of a speedrun platformer is not that weird, but it's also like harder to wrap your head around. If they had giant mechs, you could say it's Titanfall. But yeah, I guess I'll give Neon White a crack while I'm waiting for the edit.
I think it'd be nice.
Well, it'll give me something to do for a couple hours as we cross the 3-ish mark.
The 3-ish mark.
What the God? The old brain power chat. I'm like, shit. There was something else. I was chilling, listening to Lucky talk about Neon White, and I thought about there was something else to bring up that I didn't explicitly put in my notes.
Well, I'm not sure if it was in your notes because I don't have it up anymore, but Far Far West does have another place test primed and ready. I believe it comes out January 6th or 8th or something like that.
I think it's the 8th. I can check right now. Let me tab over the Discord. And yes, I don't know if my snap carried over, but that was definitely one of the things I was thinking of mentioning. Because we fucking love Far Far West in this house. That game fucking slaps. Yes, public playtest on January 8th.
8th. Okay.
At
like
Cowboy.
I said,
new boss, new objectives, new map, lots of polish. Also, despite the fact that it's January, because they had the Halloween content last time, seasonal Christmas content.
Yeah, exciting.
Yeah, we fucking love. That was such a great little playtest. Like,
no, I'm glad to get back in it too. So
yeah, I think their Discord announcement implies that this will be the last playtest before the game is out for real. For real. But for their first public playtest was very well tuned. Like I don't think we really ran into a lot of like bugs or errors.
I don't believe so. No.
Like the progression curves were maybe like a little speeded up because it was a playtest. Like I think everybody could accomplish everything they wanted over the playtest period. But seemed pretty solid. Fun mechanics. They're saying they're adding more maps. They got a new boss. That's good. That's one of the things that got repeated a lot. It'll be fun. We're gonna have fun, chat.
We are gonna have fun. So fucking whatever, like fucking electro banjo's going on. Ugh. Super good.
Yeah, the soundtrack's also really, really hype. We're gonna be the rootinest and tootinest.
Just finger guns. Pew, pew.
That's your default victory animation for a reason. But yes, that was something I did want to mention that I forgot to jot down because they announced it before the studio took their like holiday break, so it's been known for a while.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, video games.
Video games are good. Like I said, I've already pre-ordered Code Vein 2 and Neo 3. Pragmata doesn't have an Amazon pre-order yet, so I haven't pre-ordered that. But those are going to probably be like my big 3 games, at least for the first half. Everything else, I'm going to try to stop downloading PlayStation Plus games and finish games that I have. Because, fun fact, I also got Final Fantasy Tactics for the PS5 now, and I'm just all like, son of a bitch.
Game award-winning Final Fantasy Tactics Ivalice Chronicles?
I also have fucking Expedition 33 I need to beat. I have SMT5 I need to beat. I have Persona 3 I need to beat.
We like JRPGs here, chat, but also, God, they take a lot of time.
They do take a lot of time. So, no, like,
at least I'll say
probably gonna keep playing our multiplayer, crafty survival games. Gonna play some friend slop with the boys, but after Neon White is done, it's like, no, it's like, I gotta delete, like, actually, no, I'll probably finish Pacific Drive, but
He's going in the tank.
I gotta go in the tank for that. Pacific Drive pissed me off because I don't like any of the fucking NPCs that are, and
yeah, that covers a multitude of sins.
They're starting to piss me off, and I'm just all like, man, none of you are decent people. I just want to go home. Oh, I know how to do that. Turn game off. Freedom.
I'm free. Yeah, at least I will say you probably don't need to worry about the upcoming monthly games. They've announced them already. It's going to be Need for Speed Unbound, Epic Mickey Rebrushed, and Core Keeper.
I think I have Core Keeper on PC. Core Keeper is a fun game, but like I said, I put some time into it. And
I'll make sure. I'll make sure maybe to put Epic Mickey in my library. I gotta check if it is. I'll ask people if this Need for Speed is good. I've played some Need for Speeds. I like them, but I don't know. It's been many years. Sorry. Sometimes I pause because I'm scrolling through our Discord. Sometimes it's to check stuff that's been posted previously, but it's also to catch up on new news. And a lot of people are talking about their fortunes lately, and there's a lot of egg. And it's very funny that isn't one of the blessings. Yes, is blessing of egg.
I got blessing of sumo, so.
All right. But yes, you've got video games you're cooking on. I think I'm gonna chill for like the first few months of the year. We get to conserve a little budget. We get to have a little fun. Play my backlog. He says, "No, I'll catch it different." There's a slight sale on Dispatch right now, which is not a very expensive game as is, but it's like, no, I really, as fucking rad as that game seems, I need to cool it. I need to get to my reading, and I need to clear my backlog because I have a backlog of books too, but I'm planning a whole. That's where I'm planning on putting my holiday money. Whole heaping pile of books.
Nah, Lucky's getting back into his light novels as well. I have some arriving tomorrow.
Nice.
My problem right now, though, is I need more shelf space.
Yeah, I gotta be careful about ordering a whole bevy bunch of books and finding space for them all. Especially with, like, the limits of sizes and stuff. I'm pretty sure because, it's 26 now, so this month, the next Dresden Files 12 months comes out. I'm pretty sure that's my only choice is hardback. So it'll slot right there, right after Battleground. And also, I realized, because I think I borrowed it from the library originally, but the book I read over the holiday break when there were, multiple adults, my siblings, and then, the nieces and nephews, so there was like a dozen kids aged, oh my gosh. Well, one of them was less than a year, so there was a relatively young one, and then, I'm pretty sure my chat, be careful about this, be careful, be cool, you gotta be cool. My oldest niece I'm pretty sure she's getting ready to take college courses. So, like, we got a big range. So sometimes you got to lay low and you got to hide out, especially because it was weirdly hot over that weekend. So, but I caught up on some of my reading, and I finally, years late, read the second Cinder Spire's book, Olympian Affair.
Oh, how was it?
It's pretty good. It was a little weird because it had been so long since I read the first one to, like, remember all the characters. Because there's not like a dramatis personae or anything, or that you just kind of gotta get back into it. But no, it's really good. There's airship stuff, there's spooky ether stuff. There's a bit more sword fighting in this one.
Okay.
A lot of stuff centered around like dueling politics, little less air piracy, less verminosities. But yeah, it was a pretty good read overall. Captain Grimm has an old new girlfriend in this. She's a airship Viking muscle girl.
Grimm gets around apparently. Then
he's got a couple pulls, yeah. But no, it was a good read. It was a fairly chunky book, but they got a lot to cover, and I'm kind of we do a lot more world building. There's a map splash in the front of the book, which is very strongly similar to the outline of the North American continent.
Ooh.
So we seem to be fully doing the post-apocalyptics, which is very funny because it's a steampunk book series, but also in the future. So we've got some Jim Butcher classics and some fun new features.
Did I pick up the audiobook for that? I'll have to go double check.
Yeah, you gotta give it a gander. I've been thinking about picking up the first one, Aeronauts Windlass, in physical because like I said, I'm pretty sure I read an ebook or bought it from a library so many years ago.
I've only heard it. It's like same with Codex Alari. Sorry, it took me a second to remember the damn name.
I should see how cheap those are. Not that I definitely do not have the fucking shelf space for like, what, 6 of them things?
Yes.
Yeah, we definitely don't got the room for that. But that's the series that I have on ebook and primarily read and reread that way. But the physical is neato. But like I said, I feel like my Olympian affair is a little lonely without the first one, and I'm just saying I can probably pick that up in like a paperback. You get the rest of Jim Butcher's son, James J. Butcher's books. I read the first one of those a few months back, and I quite liked it. And it's that thing where you go on Amazon and you look it up and you're like, oh shit, it took me so long to buy the first one. He wrote 2 more of them. So yes, that's again, it's one of those things I talked about. Like, I don't want to necessarily call out specifically a New Year's resolution because I started thinking about it last year, but it's definitely a thing I'm thinking about as we go through the holiday period. Of like, no, this year with my holiday money, Christmas, birthday, we're gonna be cool, and I'm gonna like not buy a bunch of video games I'm not gonna play right away, no matter how cheap the discounts are on Amazon. You want to buy Elden Ring Night Rain physically on Amazon, it's like $30, but I'm like, nope. I'm like, no, Omega, don't do that. You know your ass is not gonna play that shit solo.
No.
Wait to see if some friends are in it. Like Space Marine 2, I was perfectly fine to play that solo. That was fun. I'll play it again, co-op. But I do not see myself soloing or, God forbid, matchmaking with randoms, especially like 6 months in. So we shelve it. Get books instead. I can work on those a lot faster.
Oh yeah. Oh.
Sorry, I paused because there was a cat yodeling in the hallway, and it's just. But then when I stop and tilt my head, we shut up. It's like we were agreeing about the books.
Sounds like cat.
I like that sometimes. Hopefully they're not too cold. They got those little guys got a freaking heated blanket. They get a little space all of themselves if they want to be warm. But yes, books are good, and I'm sure that in addition to my own score when I get through there and recommendations, I'm sure, knowing our audience, they'll love to hear what light novels you're picking up and enjoying sometime as well. Lucky.
Okay.
Let them know about your holiday haul. Yar. Actually, it's funny. I did mention that one of the things I'm doing is I'm listening to old audiobooks. I have a relatively complete collection of Anne McCaffrey's Dragon Riders of Perrin audiobook. I was thinking about that because one of our Discord members recently had the first one, Dragonflight. That I don't need to worry about as I think I mentioned this like offhand on a stream or something. But in the family library, we've got the trilogy of the first 3. But I also have like everything on audiobook, and I'm like, that's a good series. I like that one. That's fun. Yes, reading is good. Reading is fundamental, actually. Fundamental. Yes. Sorry, I was like, hold on, wait, I had a different segue. What was it? It's getting me after midnight. It's been sleepy stuffy lately. I did mention my birthday money, so I should mention that. Also catching up on things huge in the backlog. Usually for my birthday, we just chill out, get some slightly too expensive chicken fingers from McDonald's. The fries were slightly cold, but what can you do? You do it once a year. But we also usually rent a movie, and this year we actually had the projector set up again. So I finally watched Oppenheimer.
Oh, okay.
Took me a couple years to get there, but yeah. I don't know how I feel about the trailers they're putting out for Nolan's Odyssey, but Oppenheimer, pretty good. Amazing stuff that Cillian Murphy does, just changing his haircut to just be a different age range, because like as you would expect from Nolan, the movie is fucking nonlinear. Like it flashes back and forth in time a couple of times, but just for something I followed pretty good. It just, very, very solid narrative to just like the jump of like, starting with like that early, start of the 20th century, like, Einstein, and then quantum physics and stuff like that. Right. The new physics. At one point he's talking about, how he went to Cambridge, and somebody said, I went to Europe to study the new physics, and they're like, oh, you couldn't do that here? Didn't, isn't Berkeley? And he's like, well, yes, once I came back and started the department, like that kind of stuff, like very, very fascinating historical fiction biopic. And I will say, when, all the work, Nolan does with his practical and stuff, like the moment of build up to the test one firing, the Trinity test gadget is like, ooh, real, it's Kino, as the kids say. Absolute cinema. So no, that was a good time, even though it was 3 fucking hours long. But yes. All right. We've been going for over 3 hours. Anything else you want to talk about, Lucky?
I want to talk about Rain still.
Okay.
Nothing about what we did, but our upcoming plans. We have
That's
had a
true.
little
We're working on
bit
some stuff.
of Rain talk in the Secret Tabletop. Not a lot, but this was spearheaded by me mostly. Because one of the things that we're going to be having happen in our next session, which will hopefully be this Sunday, I hope and I pray,
knocked on wood.
Unlimited Rain works. Is we're gonna be having a team meeting and we're gonna knock out all the stuff that we want to like do and get our ducks in a row. And I made sure to get out there and do lucky Socratic methods, which is like the normal Socratic methods, only it's a lot more angry.
Yeah, I think I said that after that. I'm like, was it? Who was it? Was it
It
Aaron
was
or
either
Moffat
I think it was
asked something?
Dallas.
Was it Dallas? Yes, it was Dallas. That's right. You actually prodded some people, and we got Dallas to do an off week reply because it was a holiday week, I think. But he actually came back and he was like, oh, I don't know if I have any strong opinions. And you're just like, really? You don't have strong opinions about this or that or this thing? Huh? Guess you'll die. And Dallas was like, wait a minute. Maybe I do have opinions.
Yes. Well, I think I've mentioned it before, but ever since Lucky has been scarred, ever since the eventual fallout thing is like, no, we're not doing this thing where I'm just gonna push through with the plan and everyone's gonna agree with me. I'm going to get your goddamn opinion, and then we'll move forward. So I made sure to talk to people about, hey, do you have thoughts on this? What you want to do? Plans you want to do? Opinions you might want to sway? Any of that? Yes, no? Because if you don't, I'll fucking assign you shit, and you might not like it. And even Lawful was a guy getting a bit in. They'd be like, do I have thoughts on these things?
Yeah, I asked for kind of the callbacks and actually, good on Loth. I clipped out, because you asked for it, all the opinions, because, when I wrote this out, every High Lord, every High House had like a personal opinion clipped out as a bulleted list, so I could write them in an orderly fashion, and then I was just like, I'll paste these to you guys. And Loth actually backread, and he's just like, yes. The problem as I see it is that nobody is wrong in this scenario. We all just want different things. It's a quote from Die Hard. Welcome to the party, pal. But yes, I think it's good to get out in front of these and ask these questions, because you're not asking anything that I as the game master wouldn't ask, but definitely it could be a moment where I would probably ask them as they come up in gameplay, and that's not incorrect, I don't think, but it can slow down the pace of play a little. If we can get people pre-thinking, that can be useful.
Well, that's what I specifically wanted. I wanted people thinking ahead of time of what they want to do. Because, we've talked about this. Lucky loves thinking about Rain and, thinking what I'm about to do in Rain and how I'm going to act in Rain. So I usually have several plans and set in motion before we even get there. I know other people, have their own things, but I'm still the opinion that's like, it's a little bit of, it's that saying, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. A little bit of thinking about the plot beforehand saves us, an hour of awkward silence in the audio.
Yeah. And I even mentioned this because, a couple of the players asked about stuff, and even Axe was like, oh, what? Is there stuff I should be thinking about? And you pitched some stuff for him to think about, and I even phrased it as like, I don't think it's that you, Lucky, were asking for answers. It was like, think about these things. Do you have a strong opinion? The answer can be no. Your character can not have a strong opinion, and that's okay too, because that just means that we move along. But if you have a strong opinion, it's good to form it now and think about it, because that is the fog veil problem we ran into. And that wasn't the Leslock and Axe were not part of that. I think he's been on board with Enos's initial version of the plan the entire time. It was the other characters who were kind of like, I don't know if I've thought strongly about this yet, or if I've voiced my opinion on it yet. And it's like, okay, all right. Now we got to sit down for an hour and talk about this. Like I said, you worked through it, but you were initially pissed off. But I've talked about this before. I'm sitting back here fucking flummoxed, right? Because I'm like, this guy has been saying this for fucking in-game months, real life months, and just now we're getting to this part. This isn't the moment where I planned for the primo interpersonal drama. This is like a normal meeting. I have, boss fights for you guys to do and other bullshit to come up with, because as Lucky mentioned, hey, guess what? I'm one of the other people who thinks about Rain constantly. I'm thinking about Rain and planning stuff out, from summer court to the Celticy trip to beyond. And occasionally I get to oops, sorry, I typed a Discord emote that was just thumbs. It was not ups or down. Try it again. Thumbs. But like, and then sometimes I get to spring my devious schemes upon you, like with the Fairy Queen popping by.
That was a Dita scheme.
Which she did. She had a multifold reason to show up. You've seen her two big ones was picking an ambassador and also trying to figure out how to fucking Microsoft Teams Count Ferretti and beam his ass in on ye old Fairy Skype.
Fairy Skype.
God, I'm sorry if we were that session was super dense. I'm thinking to myself, I should have put in some more jokes about Ferretti being like, is this thing on?
Well, no, like that's one of the things I did enjoy about the session. Eno's got to jaw a lot. I'll even say argue with the high houses on their.
Well, and that is the beauty of the bulleted list format, right? Is like I wrote it as a discrete, organized way to think about and record every major NPC's opinions. But while I did not necessarily know for sure if you guys were gonna go back and forth on it, the format means that there are easy moments to be like, all right, this is this guy's box text, here's his entire opinion encapsulated. And then, if they said something and you would be like, oh, he's paused? Okay, we can talk, we can push back on this or agree on this or, whatever.
No, we got to do a lot of that, so I'm very happy.
This next session will probably have less of that style of interaction, but we'll have more of the like you said, you're planning on calling a team meeting and the initial goal of the Fogville quest was secured. Leslock is the viceroy now. Spoilers. The audio's been out for a couple of weeks. Actually, no, it was a little late. It's only been about a week because I forgot to mention it until earlier. But still, it's been out a few days. But Leslock secured the viceroy, and you guys have a lot of questions about that. And like you said, Enos got a chance to think about and it's not incorrect for my joke response to have been back talk. There was a little bit of
There was a lot of back. There's some back talk, especially with Ferretti.
Mm-hmm. Like I said, Ferretti was a little surprised by your go back about that. But like I said, everybody formed their opinions based on their cultural background.
Mm-hmm.
His people also often gallivant in woods, some of which are mystical. The problem is that his landmines are probably not demon boars, and they're more like, fairy being like, "Hey, want to buy a Twinkie?"
Do not buy fairy Twinkies.
No, it's because it's not a Twinkie. You take the bite out of the Twinkie, and it's actually it's a curse. There's a sword hidden in there. Now you're on a fucking magical quest. Some Twinkie. But yes, everybody kind of came at it from their own space and their own thoughts. Always great fun to do all that, even down to like Prince Alias at the end being like, all right, everybody, you have great opinions. However, in 20 years, this is going to be my job. So here's what I think. But the next one will be less of that and be more of the, okay, all right. So everybody, for the most part everybody definitely had honest opinions. I don't think I would even bother making you guys roll empathy. I think you got everybody's kind of candid thoughts on the problem. But every member of the high houses has different priorities, but you've got a bevy of problems and a cycle of solutions. And so the next session will be, like you said, getting your future ducks in a row and being like, okay, we've raised a lot of questions. We've raised a lot of concerns. This is officially our problem now. Previously, it was unofficially our problem. Now it's officially our problem. So officially, what are we going to do about this? And then jam through a few meetings. We got to get to some flashbacks. It's been like 2 sessions. I need Nicola to have his fucking meeting with Prince Menace. I won't say it's very important, but it's a little important. It's a pre-established character note we're getting back and forth between. Also, yes, Aaron winking about 20 years. Yes, no, I mean you guys are all suspicious of the king's death flags. I make no comments at all. I let you speculate for yourself. And don't be. I talk about thinking anxiety, going to list them out in chat. Don't worry about it too much. If you want to recap them, you can, but don't. What's the way I want to phrase this? I don't think any player should feel anxious about asking questions. I mean, sometimes I can understand certainly feeling anxious anyway, but you shouldn't feel anxious about asking questions. honestly, the gang shouldn't feel too anxious about like wasting precious screen time because like we're all improvising together. It is what it is. We do need to tighten up the thing a little. That was something I think that also happened last session where it had been a while, but Leslock got to draw with an NPC, and like I even said to myself, I'm like, I probably need to stop in character responding to every aside as Leslock, but also the person Leslock is having this conversation with is like he was talking to Lady Magister, and it's like. Also, like, I don't know. I feel like some of these things there should be some reaction because sometimes we say stuff that's a little bit crazy. I feel like I want to bring it up, but yeah, you even were in chat being like, "Wow, we got a little further afield," and we did get a little further afield. But I mean, some of that is saying can't focus fire to all the cool parts. Is like some of that is you don't know what the cool parts. I think some of the parts of the conversation were neat. It's just they weren't. What's the word? Shit. There's a fancy word for this I'm thinking of. They weren't so directly related to the point at hand. Like I said, there's a fancy grammar for that I can't think of. But I don't want to say that they weren't relevant, but it was like they were not very very. I want to say prescient, but that's not. I don't think that's correct. I think that has to do with the root of like powerful. He's got steampunk thoughts. I'm gonna get you to airships and planes, not planes. Maybe you've got a Da Vinci on your payroll. I actually don't know how the fuck ornithography is supposed to work. You can definitely do dirigibles. You're a little early for proper like ironclad monitors, but you might be able to up armor ship hulls. You might be able to figure out steam paddle boats and steam turbines. We're still trying to figure that out. So responding to Loth on a completely separate conversation in the Cabal.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so Rain will I think. Well, I always think Rain's going to be a good one, but no, I think we got a good one brewing. It will be an interesting to kind of like run, the A part and the B part, right? Because we were chugging to get through all of that Fogvale stuff in one single session, not taking a break, so we'd be gone for 2 weeks and lose focus. Get it resolved sooner rather than later. And so now you're gonna get, A part will be okay. Here's the setup, and then B part will be okay. It's not the payoff, but it's gonna be like, all right, we're on the back end of this. What are we doing? What are we doing about this? And like I said, I think about Rain a lot also. I think about scenes. I have distinct arcs and moments in mind for NPCs a lot. For PCs, though, it's much more that I have, like I said, like challenges, obstacles, not like arcs, but like moments, because I want to throw something out of my bag of tricks and be like, hey, what do you think of this? What are you going to do about this one, huh? It's like Pocket Sand, but it's Pocket NPCs. Pocket Mobs. Fistful of Demons. What are you going to do about that, huh? Sometimes the players don't bite, and then we come back to it later. Fistful of Demons might already be a metal band.
Sounds like it'd be a band.
They should have a title track which is just Fistful of Demons. Alternatively, that could be my electro swing western big band theme. Gotta put enough of a southern twang. Fistful of Demons. Pockets full of bullets. Fists full of demons.
No, but I do think that is it for me, personally.
Alrighty, well, that's, we're over 3.5 hours. 337. I just rolled over 338, actually, in the raw. It's a pretty good way to start out the year. It's not as crazy long as last show, but that one was like, I don't even know what we were doing. It was 2 weeks ago. Crazy. Crazy style, Dio. That's one just for the people in the back. Okay. But yeah, it's after midnight. It's a good time to relax. Let's wind it on in. Pack it in for the day. Hope you guys are having a great... Well, it's going to be like 2 or 3 days in, so I won't say a great new year, but hopefully you're having a good start to the new year, having fun with the show. We'll be back with more Let's Talk FGO next week, where, again, if the trajectory is correct, you will probably have our first impressions of the Samurai Remnant Collab. We're just hammering on into that. Moon Day, we'll be back to streaming, starting with Resident Evil 5. There'll be more Failed Betrayal. That will be, hopefully, if we can get the scheduling for it, that'll be Super Heavy Samurai, which won our Patreon poll. New poll out now. If not, I will once again make some shit up. I'll pick some things. We'll talk about some Yu-Gi-Oh cards. We won't be talking about Magic cards, so the episode won't be 6 hours long. Unfortunately, people keep clicking those, so I will continue to make them. Also, I have a... Failed Betrayal is an amazing product because it combines my capacity for unlimited yap, where if we really get going with a few of the others, Dallas gets to flex his bones a little too, so we get some juicing. we did mention that we're probably not going to do a movie night tomorrow, but we're going to think about the setup. We gotta pick a first film and figure out how we're going to be picking films. We could spin a wheel. People love wheels.
We should totally do a wheel.
Big old wheel of movies. But yeah, we need to set up our apparatus for that and announce it. And we'll be doing that through our Discord. So consider joining our Discord, and it's a great way to get announcements. I hopefully remember to, at everybody on the server whenever we do a stream like RE5, like Failed Betrayal, like Final Fantasy 14, which we do pretty regularly. And if we do any more fucking around streams, that being on our Discord, getting that's a great way to catch that. We will, again, knock on wood, we will be hopefully recording a new Rain on Sunday, and that one will go up sometime when I remember to ask Lucky about it, and Lucky uploads it.
Yep.
It'll happen. Because Samurai Remnant is so fast turnaround, also this weekend I will probably immediately be crunching on the script and recording an Ushi Gozen Wanted. So look out for that one. And if you support us on Patreon, which you can do, by the way, and annually, you can annuum that, you can get access to those videos early and also access to the topic polls. You can get access to the audio and stuff, like of Rain and like of the podcast early and all that other goodies. At higher levels, you can just record the show live every week. I will shout out particular patrons at our highest level in just a second, but I'm trying to think. Was there anything else in the... No, I think that's all the business type promo. Streams, Wanted, still working on the 14 RPG vid, I should say. And yeah, so that's what we'll catch you up next week. So make sure... leave your comments down below. People on our Discord have been doing it, but if you don't want to post in Discord, feel free to leave what your Omikichi results have been in the comments below. I've already seen, some people get 3 things, some people get multiple things. Somebody just posted got Oni Tsumo Tsumo, which I think is the inverse of what you got, Lucky. You got what? Oni Tsumo?
Yeah, Oni Tsumo.
So, let us know your results down below. It's a fun way to pepper it in. You can also, as I said, join the Discord. Links in the description, links on our channel page. Make sure you're subscribed for more. Ring the bell so you know when we're posting stuff. That's always very important with Wanteds because releasing those to public can be a little chaotic. Because sometimes it really does depend on what Albert says during the Chaldea broadcasting. If it's like, maintenance tonight, event in the morning, then it's like, okay, that's when that video goes live. But, if it's a different time, it can be later. So make sure you sub, make sure you ring the bell. Consider joining the channel memberships for membership badges and emotes. Consider supporting us on Patreon. Like all of our wonderful, beautiful patrons, but a special shout out to Adam Harp, Lexdo G, Call Me Zed, Carlos, Dragon, JW 9000, Crystalite, Rise of Kenji, Rogue and Sharvor. Hope everybody had a happy holidays and, good luck, good fortune. Rub my Neki Neko. In the new year, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye now.
Goodbye.